the way that a financial planning business should look in 5 years' time is I like to visualize it as an Apple store. But what I also look for in business partnerships is disagreement. Like, I genuinely love disagreement. I genuinely love when a business partner won't always go, that's so good. What was it like growing up around people that had a lot of money? The answer is fun. It's the honest answer. The parties were great and the lifestyle was fantastic. For me, like this means nothing to me.
His parents came from Poland to Australia to chase a better life. Yet when Arkadiusz was born, his parents had close to nothing to their name. Growing up in Western Sydney meant he had to learn finance the street way. From being a schoolyard entrepreneur to becoming a gun at door-to-door sales, Arkadiusz yearned to understand how money was made and duplicated. His fascination with money led him to becoming an advisor, and his passion for wealth drove him to refine his finance philosophies to help those around him amass wealth. His own journey is one of growth, and his passion to help people become better and live better runs deep. Over the years, he's gone from advising his drug dealer friends to stop doing dodgy shit to now advising extremely high net wealth individuals maintain and grow wealth. So let's dive into it. Let's dive into our money episode with Arkadiusz, your money friend.
What's the one cheat code that you have kind of discovered in your experience that if you were to go back to yourself at 18 years old would help you double your results in half the time that you've achieved that in?
If I didn't waste time on bullshit people, bullshit girlfriends from the age of 18 to 25, and I just...
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Point 01. Today we have our very special guest, Arkadiusz, on. We are on episode 14 now, so let's dive straight into it. All right, episode 14, Arkadiusz. Now, this is, I know, and I'm going to predict right now, this is going to be a great ep. You are one of my favorite people online. Your value from when you first started posting, when you had a couple thousand followers, up until now, where you have a lot more than that. Just for people who don't know, I'm going to get him to tell his story in a second, but Arkadiusz is financial advisor, financial planner, all of that, all of the above, Mr. Money Man, and your money friend, right? So this is an episode where we're going to dive into all things money, wealth, kind of success and that sort of management side, because I know a lot of your story and why you started your business was because you have rich friends, but your rich friends suck at keeping their money. And we know that in life, it's all about making money, multiplying money, and then also keeping your money, right? So we're going to dive into that. But before we get into the actual money aspect of things, who are you? Like, who is Arkadiusz? Let's dive into the story.
Who am I now is very different to who I was a month ago, who I was 5 years ago. And I think if I look back at, when I'm rewatching this in 5 years, I think it's going to be a different perception.
Yep.
I guess I'd like to think that I'm a good person, I'm trustworthy, I'm a good partner, I'm a good son, I'm a very, very good friend. And I'm just someone that really genuinely cares about helping people with their financial circumstances. So, who I am for different people is always different. Who I am to my girlfriend, I'm not her best money friend. She hates listening about money. She absolutely
Babe, you don't need another Chanel. All right, let's put it down.
She hates that stuff. So, but it depends on which context you ask. So, where did I grow up, or who am I in business, or who am I at the gym? What's the question?
Let's talk about that. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Western Sydney, so the westerns of Sydney. So I grew up in a place where, Asian gangs were prevalent. So I grew up in a suburb called Cabramatta, just in case no one knows where that is. You can Google it. Yeah. It's obviously very different to where it is now. So I grew up in a unit, where you'd kick syringes off your door and you'd kick junkies off your door to get up into your door, and you'd see shootings and you'd see all that. That's where I grew up. So I got out of there as soon as I could for many reasons, and we can dive into that as well, because I wanted to shift my perspective, because I had rich friends, but the money came from the wrong places, and I saw an entrepreneurial side to that, but I didn't want to follow that, i.e. selling drugs and knives and guns.
Yep.
I didn't want to follow that journey.
Yeah. And what's your background? Because your name's quite unique. Very cool name, by the way. Yeah, nationality.
So I'm a first generation Australian,
Yep.
but my parents are from Poland. So my father fought communism.
Yep.
In Poland, and he was part of a group called Solidarność, so it's a solidarity movement that essentially didn't want communism in Poland. And they were successful, but as part of that, he was jailed, had his teeth knocked out, and they basically dragged him and his mates before they left Poland into a room and said, pick somewhere on the map, because if we're not going to be in Poland, you are not going to be in Poland either. And at that point, he just wanted what's best for my family, so he found somewhere as far as possible.
Yep.
And he pointed Australia. And brought my sister and my brother over here, who are older. So my sister's 18 years older, so significantly older. And I was
Sister's 18 years older.
Yeah, my brother's 55 this year. I've got nephews and nieces.
Wait, did you say your brother's 55 this year?
Yeah, my dad's turning 80 and my mum's 79.
Holy
and
shit.
Just for context, I'm 32.
Wow.
So very late. So I'm very fortunate. So I'm first generation Australian. The background's Polish. So Arkadiusz is actually Arkadiusz, but no one can say that.
Yeah,
so
wow.
Arkadiusz is
Arkadiusz.
Arkadiusz. You'll get there.
Arkadiusz.
It's like you trying
It's
to
just
get
like
me
I'm
to pronounce it.
I'll teach you Chinese soon.
I'm okay. My
Yeah. Wow, that's an interesting background, bro. So you came, or your parents came, and then your first generation brought up in Cabra. I think a lot of people will know Cabra as well. I think we've had a few guests on that are actually from the area too. Yeah. So it's been quite interesting to see. Yeah, from the area. What was the upbringing like? You know, right now you're in nice suits, you're in offices in the city, you speak to a lot of high net wealth individuals, well groomed, you look great, fantastic. Social media presence is going off its head right now. Lots of stuff in property, wealth management, etc. But from the hood, right, essentially, what was your life like growing up?
I was very fortunate where my mum knew what Cabramatta was like at that time, because it was a rough place. I'm not saying that the people were bad, but it was a rough place. And the thing with Asian gangs at that time, if you weren't the trouble, they wouldn't like cause you trouble. I remember as a kid walking down McBurney Road to go to the train station. I'll tell you why in a second. You know, if there was a gang war, they would step aside to let my mum through.
Oh, wow.
You know, it wasn't,
They had manners.
That's just Asian gang culture, whereas New Age gangs is
a bit different.
Different
We'll
story.
stab everyone.
Right? So my mum didn't want me to go to school in Cabramatta, and she worked at a factory in Broadway, so in the city. So she actually got me into a school in Ultimo. So my auntie and uncle lived in a housing commission in Ultimo. So, Ultimo Public School. She said that I lived there to be within the catchment. So I actually went to Ultimo Public School in the city from kindergarten to year 6. Wow. So I was very fortunate because, you know, my friends there, their parents were business people.
Yep.
They owned roofing companies and they owned manouche shops. And so I was already surrounded from business as a young person. So that's, I really feel that shaped me a lot, but I still had the street in me from Cabra, which, you know, I knew what a bad situation was and a good situation was. And then I went to Cabramatta High School for a short period of time and Arthur Phillip High School in Para. So that obviously shaped me too. So I got the best of both worlds. I got a bit of hood and a bit of not hood. It's the simplest way to explain it.
Yeah, and so with your environment growing up, what were your friends kind of like? Did you have a lot of gangster friends? Did you have a lot of, you know, friends that were obviously running amok with the, you know, Vietnamese gangs that were down there?
Yeah, look, I grew up in Cabra and I went to high school in Parramatta.
Yeah.
So without diving too, and you're more than welcome to dive deeper.
Yeah.
But my friends that I grew up with are either dead or in jail. That's actually this. It's sad.
It is sad.
But like my best friend that I grew up with, he's no longer alive, and he passed away when we were 19.
Jeez.
So
rough.
Yeah.
But that's just the fact of life, you know. It happens when you're born in those areas, and I think this is something that a lot of kids nowadays don't really think about. You think it's cool to join a gang. You know, you get the whole brotherhood mentality. You get family. You get like a dailo. You get like a boss. You know, you get like a elder brother that looks after you or whatever, especially in the Asian community, right? I think for a majority of people, they don't realize that if you really progress in life, you progress up the career ladder, you become an executive, become a CEO, whatever, right? Or you become a business owner. In the gang world, it's you make it or you're either dead or in jail. Like those are your risks, you know?
I guess that was my choice. And look, I went for a period of time where I got into trouble when I was young. And I remember being in that system and making a decision of, do I want to be a gangster or a lawyer? Which side do I want to be on? Which gangster do I want to be? And the reality is you can be a gangster in business.
No, absolutely.
And there are gangsters that do the right thing as a gangster, i.e. let my mum through when they're doing and do gang shit. It's the same thing in business. Like you can still be a bad motherfucker, but do the right thing. I.e. if, you know, for us, we don't let agents take advantage of you. Real estate agents are scared of us, you know, because they know when we call, they're not going to lie to us because we will make that a detrimental thing for them. Doesn't mean I'm going to go shoot them up.
Yeah, correct.
You know, but
legally you will.
yeah, but it's 100%, and it's just choose your side.
It's different weapons of choice as well, right? I mean, you've got words now, you've got legal on your side as well. It's a very different story, and I want to dive into that actually. What service you're providing is pretty cool. I've been to a lot of your seminars, seen a lot of your content, and obviously, you know, met a lot of friends that work with you as well. And of course, I've seen your sort of journey and progress in that as well. I think it's really cool what you're doing. So we'll dive into the actual aspect of that. But still going back to exploring kind of what made you who you are today, I think what's more important than the actual skill sets, systems, and processes that we have now is the psychology behind it. Yeah. And I think that's so important because much like everything you teach with money and finances and wealth, it's all a mindset thing as well. It's never so much like you can have two people with $1 million in the bank each. One person can turn that $1 million into 20, and the other person will spend that $1 million and just, you know, fade into irrelevance as well, right? So mindset is so critical. I love that you've come from best of both worlds. You've got, you know, that side of you which is more hood, that side of you which is legit. What was that transition then for you? Did you end up going to uni and doing all that sort of stuff? What pathway did you go down?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I finished high school, I just always, during high school, I just did business, right?
Did you end at Cabra or end at Para for high school?
Cabra.
And so HSC at Cabra.
Yeah.
Yep. And then off.
I got expelled for attendance.
Fuck, at Cabra?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, how many? Do you remember
So
how
I
many
was
days
coming
you
first
bludged?
in. I attended like 30 days in the year.
Holy shit.
It was bad.
Wow.
I was bored. I went to
yeah,
my
fair
business
enough.
studies teacher and I was like, I need to start a business. I need to register my business. It was called Fix Me Garage. I was importing car parts
Yeah.
from Japan.
How old were you?
16?
Yeah, wow.
16, 17?
Yeah.
So I was already doing it, but cash, whatever. And
Yeah.
I went to my business studies teacher. I was like, I need to register this business, Fix Me Garage.
Yeah.
And he's like, business studies is about succeeding in the HSC, not on starting a business.
That's
I was
fucked.
like, fuck this,
Yeah, that's
right?
fucked.
So I went to Para
Yeah.
because I knew that there was like an ATO there.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, 16-year-old kid.
Oh,
with
you're
this
going to
Fix
rock
Me
up to
Garage.
ATO?
Yeah, I did. But that's how you would register a business before.
yeah.
Literally, you would
And
show up to the ATO
how long
office
ago?
at Parramatta.
That's almost 20 years ago. Almost 20
It was
years
like
ago.
2008.
Yeah, early 2000.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You would literally show up to the ATO, and I did as a kid, registering my business. I detracted from your question.
Yeah.
So what happened was I fell into being in business because I just wanted to build my own car. I had like a Honda Civic EG, you know, that's probably would be worth 30 grand right now. And I'd, you know, modify it, buy parts, and I would just import parts, steering wheels, whatever, Nardis. You're in this game, you understand it. And then someone at one point came up to me and was like, you need to stop this business because if you follow your passion and do business, it's bad. You shouldn't mix those two. And
Who said that?
I can't remember who
Family
it was.
member?
Nah, it was, I don't want to make it up. I'm not sure. But I remember they were important to me at that point in my life. And I saw them as a mentor and I was like, you're right. Why would I mix something I love and work? Like, and I just stopped it.
Fuck, just like that.
Just
cold
like
turkey.
that. And I was like, okay, I need to make money. So then I did door to door, Foxtel. And I made a lot of money, like ridiculous amounts of money. And then I knocked on the COO's door of the largest insurance company in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yep.
And I sold his wife Foxtel.
Oh, wow.
Without him being there. And she's like, I'm not signing anything until thing. And he opened the door. He's like, get in the house.
Yeah.
And he started asking me about all the terms and conditions. And I answered all of it. He's like, how do you want to make, you know, 2 to 5 grand a week? I was like, yeah. So he paid for all my education to be an insurance advisor. And then naturally from that progressed. So I never went to university. I've done my studies and I've gone back to do, and I'm currently working towards my like chartered financial planning, but I had to go back at a later date. So I did the schooling, but I went through a different pathway. I didn't go to university directly. I did it later.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think everyone, especially in the Asian culture, right? Everyone thinks that you have to go to school, go to get your grades, go to do your HSC, get good grades, go to university. That's the typical Asian sort of pathway as well. And I think from your upbringing as well, sounds like you had a very sort of similar upbringing as well. with education and stuff like that. But I think people need to realize is that everything in life is kind of flexible. You know, it's not the set system that we're fully taught by society. Society teaches us that if you don't go to school or if you don't end up going to university and getting a good degree, you're an idiot. You're stupid. You're dumb. But the reality is it doesn't matter. Look how many people become successful. They go back to universities. They get honorary PhDs.
Correct.
Like they skip the whole process.
I will probably go do a law degree at one point. Only because if I have a law degree and you ask me a question and I'm licensed in a particular way, I don't have to create a legal document. Like if you go, Arkadiusz, I want to invest $1 million, tell me what to do. If I have a certain qualification, I can just tell you and go do it.
Correct. It's
And
not
I'm
like you're on TikTok, right? And it goes not financial advice
Correct.
and all that sort
If
of
you're
stuff.
like, hey bro, I got all this cash, what should I do? If I'm licensed in a particular way and I have accreditations, it actually gives me a license to give you advice without even writing it down. So that's the power of qualification in my industry. And I just want to touch on this because I've noticed there's a lot of culture about uni's a waste of time and all that sort of thing. I didn't do that pathway. I'm not sure if you did. And we're successful, right? In saying that, I hire commerce law students and they're gangsters. Like for you to do a double degree to be an investment banker,
bro,
you are disciplined, smart, but you might be missing the street. I can teach you the street.
Of course.
Right? So this whole narrative of, uni shit, like everyone talks about Hormozi and stuff.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah.
And he was very academic. And that's why, to some point, he's also amazing because he can retain information and regurgitate it unlike anyone else. So I think if someone's like, don't go to uni because it's a bad idea, but you feel like you should go to uni, go flirt with it.
Yep.
Like worst case, it's shit. Oh, boo-hoo, you have some hex debt.
Yep. I agree.
So I think, a lot of people, you got to pick your battle. And that's what I said. Like it's weapon of choice.
Yep. And I 100% agree with you on that stance, bro, because I think a lot of the time people sit here and they go, oh, uni sucks. And, I've even preached that narrative as well myself.
Same.
The reality of it is university is effective to some degree for certain aspects of life. Not everything. Some degrees are relevant. I 100% believe that because uni is a business at the end of the day as well. And they're selling you a course, $30,000, $40,000 course.
Agreed.
And it gives you a certain qualification, right? But ultimately, university is a training tool for the corporate environment, and that's what it is. Okay, so if you can go for a university degree, especially those high ATAR ones, you have a certain foundation there. Whether or not you can actually apply that foundation into life is a different story.
Separate. 100%.
Because you'll meet, and I went to Sydney Boys, so a lot of my friends are extremely intelligent, 99.7, 99.95. My best friends were like 99.9, 99.8. We had a group of like 30, 40 boys, and I had the lowest score out of all of them. I got like, what did I get? I got 89.7 on my ATAR.
Still really good.
Which is still apparently really good. But in my school, I was bottom 30. So think about that, right? And
but that's why you're successful to the degree that you are here because you would have had that element of difference.
Yes.
You would have not been as academic, but you would have seen things that they might have not seen.
Yes, different angles, right? Different angles. And I think that's more important in life than the actual academic success that a lot of students are chasing nowadays, which is, I want to get the A's, I want to get the 99s, I want to get the 100s. But the reality of it is, sometimes being incredibly intelligent is also the caveat to your success as well. And a lot of people are like that. I meet a lot of people that extremely intelligent, book smart, but they end up in 90K like jobs. Yeah.
I want to rewind a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
No matter who you are or where you are in your journey, and maybe if you're young, this might relate to you, but I wanted to be a criminal lawyer. And I had the position and the marks to do that.
Yeah.
So I was first in legal studies and I was doing math and English, advanced. Like I was coming first in everything but math. I wasn't first in math, but I just did basic math to get the degree to be able to criminal lawyer.
Yep.
When my principal sat me down and expelled me, meaning I couldn't go to university, I thought my life was over.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to do? And then you also touch on traumas. And I was thinking about you in the shower last night.
Oh, thanks,
I was like, what are my traumas, right? Knowing who I am right now and how sensitive and caring I am, if I became a criminal lawyer, I would have been fucked.
Agreed.
It would have destroyed me.
Yep. If you're super empathetic and you're going to be a criminal lawyer, you are fucked.
Like it would have destroyed my life to the point of potential real bad mental health issues, like all that shit. So in that moment, it felt like it was the worst thing ever. And it became the best thing. Wow. And I think you ask about traumas, and if you want to dive into traumas, I was thinking about how to answer that. It's like every trauma has been the best lesson that I've ever had. I just don't necessarily see it straight away.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
You know what? When you mentioned that as well, I was in the exact same position. I remember the day I got my HSC result. Everyone in the group chat was, "Oh my God, what did you guys get?" And then you see the 97s, 95s, 98s, 99s between the boys and the girls. So we had a combined group during high school. There was 60 of us. And everyone in the group chat was chucking their scores out. And I opened my paper and it started with an 8, right? And everyone was
lucky.
90. Yeah, it started with an 8. And I was like, holy fuck. My first preference was a double degree. My second preference was a double degree. My third preference was a double degree. And my fourth preference was my backup one, which was an 82 ATAR degree, which was science. Originally, I wanted to get into a master's of nutrition and bachelor's of physiology, I think it was. And
you'd be making no money right now.
Like 100%. And that was a 98.7 ATAR degree. And I got it and it went no. And then I got accepted into science and I was like, my life's over. And I was like, at that time I messaged my friends. I'm like, see you guys, I'm going to go join the military. I'm out of here. I'm going to join the army.
Did you lie to your parents?
When my parents asked me, they were like, oh, what did you get? And I was like, oh, it wasn't so good. I'm not so happy with my results. It's not what I wanted. And my parents actually did something that was unexpected. They went, it's okay. Whatever you got into, we support you. And as long as you see there's a pathway for you, it's okay. Just do it. And I was like, fuck, that's, I'm very grateful for my parents. They have been very, very supportive and they've been a crucial component of my journey. Yeah. So yeah, very, very grateful that my parents had a very unique mindset when it came to that. And my brother didn't go to uni and he was Sydney boys as well. And they were supportive of that as well. So it took him a while to get over it. Lots of crying from my mum, but ultimately my brother said, fuck uni, it's completely useless. I want to be an artist. This is useless. No one's going to teach me how to draw. My mum's like, yeah, but you got to go uni. And then my brother's like, you know what? I'll jump off the fucking balcony if you force me to go uni. And then that was it. The conversation was over. Yeah. Nice. Anyway, trigger warning for anyone that's for that.
I lied to my mum. I told her that I got in and did all that. And I was like, I'm just going to make enough money where she doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then my auntie exposed me because she looked at all the results. She's like, his name's not here.
Yeah. Oh,
and mum was just like, what happened?
Oh,
and I was like, I got expelled.
Yeah.
And she was just like,
so she didn't know you got expelled?
No.
Oh, shit.
Like I said, I was a bad kid.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just in the wrong place.
I lied to my parents about my first year of uni, though. When they asked me how uni was going, I was like, it's going great, fantastic. Little did they know, that first year of uni, I had, for science, instead of doing 4+4, which is what most degrees make you do, 4 units of 4 subjects, I did 5+5, which is science requirements at Sydney Uni. And the first year of uni, 10 subjects, I failed 7 out of the 10. And then the other 3 subjects, guess what? I got 50, 50, 51 for the other 3. So my WAM for first year uni, I think it was 36 or something like that. And so, yeah.
Studying, so I'm doing my CFP, like I'm working through it.
Yeah.
I just did like my legal and economics like subject. Like I got a distinction in it, but like I was just, it's just so shit.
It bro, it sucks.
Because I'm just doing it. I'm like, nothing of this has relevance to real life.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, this lady got gifted a statue and now her dad died. Who owns the statue? I was like, who gives a fuck about the statue? No one cares about this statue.
Yeah, literally.
Like, no one wants it, number one. It's not going to be an estate matter. No one cares about it. It's just,
It's pretty fucked. I think when it comes down to education, a lot of the way that education is taught to us is completely irrelevant. I would say from a degree, maybe 5 to 10% of it is important. The most important thing in a degree is probably the community that you're in and also the way you study and retain information. I think that's probably the most important thing when it comes to education, not the actual course content itself.
And I think to touch on that, I regret not going to university sooner because of the community and the network. Because when you're young and you grow up in the area, right, you're surrounded by a certain demographic of person. And if you do go to UNSW or UCID or wherever you are, right, immediately you get immersed into a different place. Right. And if you don't get immersed to a different place and you want to start a business, you then have to join networking clubs and so on. And it's so small. And then Or, for example, if you join a corporate world, you then get positioned into a certain leader panel. Whereas if you go to a university, you know, there's art students, there's business students.
There's still flexibility in what you get to receive.
Correct.
Yeah.
So even if same thing, if you go to uni and you can't figure out what you want to do and you do something, worst case, you have some HECS debt.
Yep.
But you might find one business partner or one future wife or boy, like you just
correct.
might find that. And that is worth 10 grand to me.
Yeah.
At the time, it's shit because you look at your HECS debt, you're like, oh my God, I just spent 10 grand, 12 grand. And even if you leave the course, it gets you one step closer. So I'm not opposed to, you know, I think there's a lot of narrative. You and I are both shit on it.
Yeah.
But I think it could be valuable if you're stuck.
I agree. I think
than
it's
starting a random business and earning nothing for a year.
correct. I think it's one of those things where you probably have the better judgment for yourself whether or not university is worth it to you. But never do university if you're being forced to do it for the sake of having a piece of paper.
Yeah, agreed.
I reckon if you identify a course or a module or something in uni that you really enjoy and like, absolutely do it because you have opened the door up to a lot of resources and stuff like that. We're sounding like a university advertisement now, but you know, ultimately
Join our course.
yeah.
Promo
Buy
code
our course,
Arkadiusz Bryl. Yeah.
yeah, Arkadiusz Bryl. It's only $2.99 if you buy it today. Okay. All jokes aside, but yeah, what was it like then for you? Like, what sort of, you know, because I'm trying to structure my question here. When you were growing up, a lot of the time, obviously being from that hood environment, being Cabra, we all know what Cabra's like now. We love Cabra now. Cabra's cleaned up a lot. Back then, it would have been a lot of, you know, gang activity, a lot of drug dealing, a lot of that sort of stuff. When you saw your friends go through that, what was running through your head? Because a lot of money, young kids, and I think this is very helpful for a lot of maybe the young listeners in the future, seeing the clips that come out of this as well, is we will see friends that make a lot of money very fucking quickly. You know, drug dealers easily, if they're good, they'll bring home 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a week, right?
Or
easily.
more.
Or more, depending on what level you are, right? You could be a grunt dealer, you could be like just a runner or whatever, right? When it comes down to that, they make a shitload of money. What was that like being in your sort of upbringing? Was your family poor growing up? Or?
Yeah, of course, yeah. My father was very sick when I was young and he continued to be sick throughout my whole life. So really I was like raised by a single mum is the simplest way to explain it. And they came from nothing. My mum's top earning income throughout my life was $23,000.
Holy shit.
And, you know, mortgage in Cabra, single income, sick father. That's no money.
Yeah.
I always felt like we had money because I've learned now that my mum just wanted me to have it. And I would always find I would find a way to get money.
Yeah.
Selling ice blocks, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I grew up, we grew up poor, but I would have never felt it because my mum just made it work somehow.
And I think that's the blessing of parents, right? Is that oftentimes, you know, we have good parents around us or like some people are very lucky we have good parents. Some people aren't lucky because they don't have good parents. But I think our parents try to shield a lot, both, you know, whether you're Polish or Chinese or whatever it is. I think a lot of times our parents, they'll you know, try to insulate their children from the harsh life that they've lived. You know, in Asian culture for us, my parents sacrificed holidays to buy me tutoring books, like to buy me textbooks so I could study, right? And for you, it would have been something similar, you know, whether or not as a toy you won or
it's even like
or whatever.
The shirt was always pressed. You know, the lunchbox was always perfect.
Yeah.
Always have a haircut.
Yeah.
You know, sure, the haircut might have been $5 from Canberra, but we had that unfair advantage.
Correct.
Because my mate's parents' haircut would be $15 or $20 at the time.
That's right.
So we just had that ability. So yeah, it was. What was it like growing up around people that had a lot of money? The answer is fun.
Yeah.
It's the honest answer.
It's true.
Yeah, the parties were great and the lifestyle was fantastic. But it created, for me, like this means nothing to me. Like I can see $1 million in a bank account. I can see people put $60,000 on a number on roulette, and I am unemotional about this because of what I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when someone's a drug dealer and they go to a casino, putting $60,000 on a number is
2 days of work.
It's irrelevant. So that creates issues for people too, right? And I think that's the issue is when you're growing up around this, even if you get out of it, you still have money habits based on seeing what's around you, i.e. buying the tables, all that sort of thing. And you blow all your money on the Saturday. Like if I had someone just go, hey, instead of always spending $300 to $500 every weekend or buying the table for $2,000, what if you put that into an index fund? What if you bought a property? Like if I was buying property every year from 18, which I could have,
Yeah.
fuck me.
Even even if you put it into an index from 18 all the way till now, like
Yeah, it would have been impressive, but it wouldn't have been leveraged debt every single year.
correct,
Right?
correct,
I would, yeah.
correct. Wow. So, I mean, seeing all those friends, obviously they had a lot of money. You were already working. You had your little business as well that was going on. What was that like? Starting your business, you did a lot of JDM stuff. What was that process like? You were 16, 17 at the time. What did you actually do for that business? Did you help other people fix their cars, mod their cars?
Yeah, no. So what I would do is I just started importing because I wanted parts. So I would just import it at a larger.
What was it like actually
quantity.
importing back in the day? That would have been difficult.
Jesse Streeter is a name that people might know if they're in the JDM game. It was like the first that was doing it. It was pretty easy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I just
wow.
set up a bank account and obviously shipping. I'd either join in on other bigger containers and just slot my parts in there, or I'd just use eBay.
Oh, wow.
So I'd just import from Japan I didn't really feel like it was hard.
Okay.
Because I would just adjust my price based on the shipping.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd import parts, Nardi steering wheels, mirrors, gear knobs, etc. This was like before it was during JDMST days. So before JDM Yard just like sort of kicked off, before Zen Garage kicked off. So I sort of got in there before there.
Yeah.
And then
Were you making good money on that, or was it kind of like just like a little bit extra here and there?
It was enough to continue buying cars and mod my cars unapologetically.
Okay.
So I
So
wasn't
it's
like
not bad. That's actually
no,
not bad at
like
all.
I was making cash.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it became more serious, the idea was to create a warehouse where people would come and fix cars.
Of course.
And then we started rolling guards.
Yeah.
So I started getting into the mechanical side because I had a friend that his dad owned a mechanic shop. So then we started also helping with alarm installations.
Yeah.
It was cool to have a carbon fiber bonnet. So we would import
Carbon
the
fiber back in the day
bonnet.
would be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You're
or
cashed.
a black bonnet.
Yeah.
You know,
you are
like-
cashed, bro.
Yeah. So we'd like get the bonnet, replace it, charge $80 to replace the bonnet because it's just 4 screws, just little things like that. But like I said, then I just stopped because I don't know who told me that I shouldn't do it.
Yeah. How long did that last?
The business?
Yeah.
Just after I finished high school.
Oh, okay. So maybe
So
like
about
2
a year
years.
after, I was about 19.
Yeah.
So
2
16
years.
to 19.
Oh, 3 years. 3 years. Yeah. It's
But
not too
nothing
bad.
like, I don't know what my revenue was.
Yeah,
I
of
wasn't
course.
posting. I made $2,000 this
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
by my
yeah.
course.
Everyone's
I just-
flexing. Yeah, guys, look at that. We just made papers.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, we're so rich now.
It was literally just make the money, reinvest it into more
Have
parts.
fun.
It was just reinvested into more parts.
Yeah.
That's
For
it.
your own
And then
cars.
just correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then so between that process and where you are now, oh wait, are you still into cars now? Right.
Unfortunately,
JDMs or different?
everything.
Everything.
I don't discriminate.
I think I saw you post up something you got. Did you buy a classic car recently or something?
I bought a 1984 Honda City Turbo.
Oh wow.
Stupid.
Wow.
My friend sent it to me at auction, and now
Yeah.
I
Was
fixed the rust. And
Oh my god. Was it a good price at least?
I don't know. It was like $2,500, $3,000. But I've already spent.
X amount.
It's irrelevant. Yeah, it's just stupid shit.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
I've
But
got
you
a
still-
I've got a Tarago,
Oh yeah. Nice.
like an old one, which is getting like a VIP build.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like airbags, it's got wood
No
floors.
way.
Yeah,
You're
like,
doing-
I don't know why I have this.
I pimped my ride Tarago.
Literally
Holy shit.
wood floors. Yeah.
Yeah,
But now
wow.
we're doing a van tour.
Yeah,
we can talk about
yeah,
later.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I have a van for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
How cool. How cool. That's so
I don't
fun.
discriminate. I like obviously new Euros, but I like old
course.
Euros as well.
Yeah, the
Give me
classics.
like a 300e Hammer Mercedes AMG from the 90s. I'll drive that over
nice.
a new AMG.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. I think everyone's got choices, right? I mean, you don't always have to be the C63 driving
I don't.
You know,
I wouldn't drive.
Lebo with the gold
I'd go
watch.
from inner west to the city. It's
Yeah.
not worth. I can't
Yeah,
go
yeah.
over 40 k's an hour. Doesn't
You get
make
stuck.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
100%. So, what was the process then between that business and then where you are today, right? Because when did you start getting into the money side of things?
Yeah, it's a good question. So obviously, I was in insurance by knocking on the door of the COO. And when you're insurance and you advise people on insurance, you naturally look at their holistic affairs.
Yeah.
And during that journey, I found a few financial advisors, and I went and started doing my financial planning qualifications.
Yep.
And then what happened was when I was doing that qualification, there was a whole bunch of tutors, but one day one of the tutors was sick, and my now mentor, Eleni Kathalos, did like an introduction, and she was just a bad bitch. Like just walked in, solicitor, financial planner, just like scary. But she was just on the ball. She's like, everything you're learning here is irrelevant. This is what happens in a real meeting. This is what we're going to talk about, etc. And then she started, like the person was sick, and she came back for a second week, third week, and then we're having lunch. And she had this thing where she was just talking to me like, she's like, okay, every year I just have a spare $100,000 and I invested in something random. This year I'm going to buy a taxi plate. And I was like, I just got back from New York. Have you heard of something called Uber?
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, she became very fond of me during that stage because she didn't buy the taxi plate.
Thank God, bro. You saved her $100,000 just like that.
Yeah. And also potentially she made a lot of money from the other investment.
Yeah.
But she actually sat me down and said, you're unemployable.
Yep.
Do not join a financial planning firm.
Yep.
As soon as you finish this, start your own financial planning business.
Yeah, wow.
I was like, sorry. She's like, it's stupid for you to go do a financial planning business. So that's how I fell into it, man. So what happened was I finished that. I ended up still doing financial planning gigs and consulting work as I was developing this business idea.
Yep.
And she said to me, tell everyone that that you have an advisory panel that knows how to do everything. Do not give advice. Just sit with people and ask questions. That's it. And I will steal her quote, but she says, the only reason we exist, the only reason we're good is not because we have all the answers. It's because we know what questions to ask. So I'm going to get you very good at asking questions. And we developed something called a visual fact find. So I would go to meetings, I'd cold call, find people, and I'd just ask questions. And I would meet with her and she would help me develop the plans.
Wow.
And we'd find accountants and solicitors and brokers. And that's how that's why it was real knowledge, diverse solutions.
I love the business name as well, actually. I want to actually dive into these questions with you in a second because I think it'll be really helpful for a lot of people at home. But the way you came up with your business name, Arkadiusz, and I was like, bro, that's the smartest thing I've ever fucking seen. Because RKDS, but also real knowledge, diverse solutions, right? So yeah, I thought that was really cool when I first saw your business name pop up, and I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. It's his name, but also his name.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Because a lot of firms are like Partners and Co.
Yeah.
Last name and thing. And I was like, I want to make it my name, but I also want to be able to remove myself one day. Because I don't want everyone being like, I want to speak to Arkadiusz.
Yeah, correct.
That's
and
an
then,
issue,
then you're
but
fucked. And then you're stuck in the business for the rest of your life.
Which we'll talk about as well, because I'm shifting that to a personal brand now.
Yeah.
And I've actually become a strategic partner at Strategic Investor Group.
Yeah.
And the main reason behind that is because I'm good, but my team's better.
Yep.
Same thing. I know what questions to ask and my team solve it. So I'm really trying to step away from that. But yeah, Eleni Kathalos, shout out. You're probably not listening to this because you're too busy developing a property overseas at the moment. Long story. But she basically helped me build my business. And I was supposed to pay her $800 an hour for that. But she had a business called Training Legal Compliance Consulting Group. And basically when big firms got in trouble, she'd go and clean up the mess and make sure that everything was okay and things. So I was like, what if we call it TLC? So like Tender Loving Care, Training Legal Compliance. And I built the website for her, created the infographic. And it was sort of like always a exchange of services. And to this day, like she sends me work, I send her work. And it's sort of, we've never transferred cash. It's just remained. And her and her family and, my partner and her, we still catch up. And it's just, she's been great. So
I think that's awesome though. I think a lot of people,
fortunate.
you're very, very fortunate and you have a great mentor as well. I think a lot of people don't really respect the value of a mentor, but also at the same time, people don't realize that cash is not the only thing that matters as well.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. The thing is, like, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I think this might relate to your audiences. I'll be vulnerable. So I was in a position just over a year ago where I had a very nasty failed partnership, like bad. And they essentially tried to completely stop my upfront and ongoing revenue stream on my lending business.
Okay.
And it really affected me.
Yeah.
Like it crippled me.
Yeah.
And what happened was there was a bill that came up of just shy of 15 grand. And in that exact moment I didn't have the money to pay it. Like just in that moment.
Yeah.
Like I could have put it on a credit card, but I've just never been in that position where I can't
Struggled
just
with a bill.
Yeah. And I just felt so vulnerable and scared because a human was able to put me in that position.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't operate.
Yeah.
And I sat with one of my mentors and business partners, and he could just see me, and I was like at the point of almost tears. And I was just telling him, and he's like, how much is it?
Yeah.
He's like 15 grand. And he just started laughing.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, take my watch.
And he was just like, he just like got on his phone. He just transferred the money.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because if I called any of my mentors, this is not like an ego boost, but if I was like, hey, I need 200 grand right now because I need it, they would probably just send it.
Yeah.
And we'd work it out later.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, in that moment, it wasn't the money. It was everything around it and the support that crippled me.
Yeah.
So a lot of people feel that, money's stressful. Money is easy to find. I'm sure you know the same. Like if you wanted to, you just go pour beers or
Correct.
you just go make money. But having that support network to help you, to talk to you, to get you out of that problem is so much more important. And Eleni's never given me $1. But if I need to text her at 10 o'clock because I don't know how to solve something, she knows how to solve it. And that's way more valuable than a VC investment or $200,000 input or a partnership arrangement. Just that advisory panel to be like, so sure, the $15,000 transferred into my bank account that day.
Pretty cool, pretty fast, great.
It helped, but the fact that he was able to identify that I was just being dumb.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't think about it in that moment that I literally, like, even if I asked my mate, they would just it doesn't come to my brain. So yeah, I think it's just, it's important.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, you know what it is? I think we're in a position now where we've worked hard. We can understand the value of money. And we can understand that sometimes, like, this doesn't matter, right? And to be honest, like for most people who don't know at home, and I hope the editors do cut to this is 10 grand, essentially. So this is what 10 grand looks like. So if 10 grand is just literally this thing, and you probably have there's like 200 grand on the table, essentially, right? This is 200K, probably a little bit more. But that's all it is. This is what people stress about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it, right? Because I come from a poor background as well. You come from a poor background. There were times in our life where this is probably like our entire family's net worth.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Or like,
even
one.
less. just one.
Yeah.
And there were literally times where life was like this. I remember there were times.
I've had some moments where I've had less than that.
100%.
Yeah.
And I remember like times when my dad had to go through, they used to put coins in a little St. George dragon money tin. There was a time in my life when my dad had to steal that from me without telling me, because I used to play with it like a toy and I liked how heavy it was getting. And he stole it from me to pay for rent. And there was literally times like that in our life. So understanding that, and I think a lot of people will sit here and go, oh, Alan, Arkadiusz, you guys are just fucking having a little circle jerk around your table and, talking about money as if it's nothing. We're struggling, cost of living crisis, this and that. What's your thought on that actually right now? Because that's a big narrative right now. Whether it's you're watching this video in July, whether you're watching this video maybe even in 2026, doesn't matter. A lot of people are going to sit here and go, cost of money, cost of living crisis. You guys are just all these rich guys that, have rich friends, and 15 grand might mean nothing to you. But what's your kind of perspective on that? Because I know a large amount of, Australians would sit here and go, wow, 15 grand is actually quite a bit of money. Even 10 grand is a lot of money, right? So, yeah, what's your take on that?
I think it's perspective. There's a cost of what you want crisis. Because a lot of people are like, Sydney property is too expensive. It's like, go buy a unit in Cabramatta and catch a train to the city for 40 minutes. Yeah. That's a you want to live in Surrey Hills crisis, not a cost of property affordability crisis. What you want property just not go up forever. Yesterday I do street talks where I interview people on the street. And there was a lady that stopped in her late 40s. And then every time I tried solving a problem for her, she just kept having another layer of shit. Single mum in her 40s, 120 grand, can't buy a home because she can't save a deposit. the minimum entry for her to find something suitable for her children in the school catchments that they're in is a 950 grand entry point. So for her to, even with all the incentives to get into that asset, she needs about 60 grand, right? The reality is I can almost guarantee that if I sat down with her and I printed 3 months of her bank statements and I eliminated some things, we could potentially get to a point where I could save that with her over a 3 to 4 year period. Is that shit? Yeah, 100%. But she doesn't want to move her children out of the schools that they're in to change their life and her life. That is still a choice, right? And unfortunately, where we are in an unapologetic city, right? Just like New York, all that sort of thing. So we are in a place that doesn't care if it's expensive. We are in a place where the business owner that wants to keep their shop in Martin Place will have to charge you $7 a coffee to keep it open. If you don't want to buy the $7 coffee, it's not their problem. Go to 7-Eleven and buy the $2 one or $1 or whatever it is. So I think we have a cost of choice crisis. That's what it is. It's you don't want to earn more money or extract the things that aren't important to position yourself to live the life that you want to live. And are there points in time where I'm in the city and I would grab a Makona and cling wrap it and go to 7-Eleven and fill it up and keep it in my keep cup when I was starting my business? 100%. Do I buy $7 coffees now? Yeah. Right? I do. Yeah. But when I couldn't afford it, I wouldn't. So I think $15,000 is a lot of money. I think $100 is a lot of money. I think 150 grand is a lot of money. It's just about the perspective of time. I would much prefer the simpler life than my life right now because I have staff salaries and rent and responsibilities and parents that don't have money. And when I was outside on the phone, I'm trying to position myself to somehow buy a house to move my mum in because my dad can't move in the unit. Like that's shit. But it's not anyone's problem. And me complaining about it is irrelevant. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm building my business. That's why after I'm going to go have a client meeting and all day tomorrow I'm going to work. So it's a cost of choice crisis. But people won't like that.
I agree. I think a lot of people need to, one, stomach the hard truth because they can't. I feel like Australia is a country where entitlement is really high up there. Tall poppy syndrome's up there. You know, people hate people that are doing well, which is fucking sad.
I do it too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do it, but I genuinely at times catch myself doing it.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, why are they doing better than me? Sometimes I find myself needing to get myself off social media because it puts unnecessary pressure on you to go, fuck, there is a 20-year-old kid that's making $4 million a year right now. What the fuck am I doing?
I had a call and I asked if I could talk about it. I had a call with some 19-year-old today that's having guess how many dollar months.
Fuck, I don't know, bro.
Let's have a crack.
I'll take it.
19 AI automations.
Oh, our automations, 300 grand a month.
No, not that crazy. 70.
70. Jesus.
$70,000 a month. Consistently. Jesus. And it's like, what do I do? I was like, I don't know, man. keep doing what you're doing. What are your costs? He's like, about $400 a week.
No way. That's fucking insane. Yeah. That's insane.
Just sells packages simple, like the simplest of automations.
Yeah.
And just high ticket.
Yeah, wow.
It's a beast.
Wow. Yeah. See, I mean, you look at that and especially you'll be dealing with a lot. You're 32, he's almost half your age, just a little more. And he's making fuckload, like that's a lot of money. That's $1 million a year almost.
Yeah. Like almost net.
Yeah. $1 million almost net. I was going to say it's like at a 95% margin, which is incredible. Imagine being 19 years old doing that. Like the only friends we would know at 19 doing that were the drug dealers, you know? But now
that's not net.
Yeah, exactly. That's not net. That's after all the bags they put up their nose. So, or before. But yeah, so it's like, it's really insane to see the sort of environment that we're around. And I see that all the time. Like I cop it to a lot of people. So like, especially because I'm Asian, it's always like, fuck off back to China. You're a communist, silver spoon. Your parents gave you all this money. You're just a rich Chinese kid.
Yeah. And what? Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So what if I am, right? And same thing, like people always give shit to Trump or your dad loaned you $1 million. Good, fucking good. If you're in a position where your parents can support you, you have friends and family support you, fucking take advantage of it.
I hope I'm in a position where people hate my children because of the opportunity that I'm able to position them
If
for.
people go, your dad's just some rich fucking cunt, I'll be like, yeah, that's right. And what? I'll drop my kids off at school in my G-Wagon. I don't give a fuck.
I'll share just something really quick because I think it's really important for anyone listening.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not earning at least, and I said this just because I thought it was a cool thing to say at one point, and I actually went and did the numbers on it. I was like, oh shit, it's not only cool, it's also reality.
Yeah.
If you're not earning at least $250,000 as an individual or as a pair,
Yep.
within 5 years, you're not even going to be able to afford to live in Sydney.
That's like Sydney as in 30 kilometers from the CBD, or Sydney as in like even up to fucking past Blacktown.
Potentially. To give you context, after like you shouldn't spend more than 1/3 of your income on rent. A lot of people would agree with that.
Yep.
Your net per week availability is about $1,000 at that level. So people are like, oh, but I could live in Penrith. It's like, sure, if you have 2 kids and a wife, you don't think the rent on that Penrith home is going to be at least $1,000 a week.
That's true.
Like shit's getting crazy.
Yeah.
So you have a choice. You either move and get out now and establish a life somewhere else, and people are going to hate to hear that, or you earn way more than 250 grand.
Which I think a lot of people cannot get to that level.
Then move.
Yep.
Like you need to really start thinking where your life's going to be, because you're going to struggle. Like you are going to be raising 2 children with your wife or husband in a 1-bedroom unit.
Yeah.
Or 2-bedroom unit.
And we've been there because we were broke as fuck. But the reality is,
that's where I grew up.
Yeah,
but
same.
I turned out okay, but a lot of people around me didn't.
Yes, that's true.
Right? A lot of people, like I told you at the start of this, the large majority of my friends that I grew up with are dead or in jail.
Yep.
So you need to choose your battle. So if you don't think you can earn enough, if Sydney's already expensive, it ain't getting cheaper. No matter who's elected, no matter who's, if they discount your petrol or your electricity bill,
It doesn't matter.
No.
The $1,000 a year that you save, $2,000 a year, who gives a fuck, right?
The issue is that, the dad that had to steal money out of your money box, they came here with nothing. The clients that are coming that we're representing from overseas, we're talking $200,000 to $500,000 single income salaries minimum. We're talking Amazon, Google, Atlassian employees with shares that are about to vest of hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's your competition. That's who Australia wants in this country. They don't want the version of our parents here anymore. And it sucks, but it's just the truth. And realistically, as a business owner, and people are going to hate this as well, we want that to happen to this economy.
Of course, so we can get paid more.
100%. I want someone to be able to afford the $7 coffee or the $30 cocktail.
To afford the services and the products that I provide. Of course, absolutely. From an economy standpoint, from a business standpoint, you want that. I don't want to be selling a product where I have to discount it all the time so people can afford it. I want to sell a product where I can still keep a margin. I can still feed my staff, my team, grow the business without me needing to die all the time and work 50 hours, 50 hours a day.
So just to give everyone context, there was an article released 2 days ago where for a financial planning advice business to exist, they need to be earning from advice at least $4,000 from a client per year. Now, we're very fortunate because our advice business doesn't rely on people paying us because we've got, lending services and accounting services. So we're able to subsidize that with other things, and we just build that into our advice model. But they did the research, and people don't want to spend more than $500 on advice per year.
Yep. Actually, let's touch on that because I think a lot of people think financial planning, financial management, financial advice, all of this sort of anything in the finance field is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
What's it going to look like? Let's just say if I'm on a 80K salary, if I'm on a 60K entry level salary, and at any sort of corporate firm, I come out of uni, I'm on like 60 something, 65, call it, for example. Is it worth it for me to invest into a financial advisor at that stage? Or do you feel like the best clients for you and the clients that surely need the advice come at a later stage?
That person needs the most advice, but they probably aren't in a position to pay for it. So this is where the advice industry needs to find a solution for that person. Like, there's an argument always when I sit with a room of financial advisor is a dirty word. And I agree, it should be a dirty word because the large majority of financial advisors just want to stick you into a managed fund, charge you a percentage fee, and then do nothing and hope that you continue paying them. They're shit, or they just try to sell you insurances. You've experienced like we don't do that. We focus on structure, strategy, and actual advice to get someone to where they want to be through strategy sessions and content, etc. The person on $80,000 needs to find a business that's able to provide them general advice solutions so they can try to solve the problem themselves. So if you're on $80,000 a year, what do you think you should do? Save more, invest better, clean up your super, create automations, and position yourself for a potential leverage journey in business, commercial property, residential, whatever your flavor is, right? How do you do that? You find a team that has the solutions to provide general advice. So that's what we're trying to do. And that's whoever nails this in Australia, that's going to be the first financial billion-dollar unicorn that comes out of Australia.
Well, I feel like you're definitely on the right track.
To be a unicorn, I don't think so, but
maybe not to be a unicorn at this stage, but right.
Obviously, I don't even care to be, but yeah.
I think once you've got you know what I see? I think there's such big potential in your business, right? From my perspective, doing like e-commerce, doing business at scale for me, like scaling things up and having a look at how systemization and processes go. I think there's such potential for your business, obviously. Combined with the right tech stack, I think there is a huge, like a tech and marketing stack, obviously. If you combine those 2 points well, and obviously we navigate legally the sort of financial aspect of things, I think there's huge potential for what we can
100%.
do.
Whether I do it, we do it, someone else does this, the way that a financial planning business should look in 5 years' time is, I like to visualize it as an Apple store. So you go downstairs and there's literally an iPad where you can plug in your super details and it will compare your super across the whole market and give you the knowledge to just switch your super yourself.
Fuck, that's
do I want to change your super? It's the most boring thing in the world. If you tell me which super fund you're with and what, I can just tell you which one you should be in.
I'm with Australian Super. Let's be vulnerable, right?
Okay,
so
great.
I'm with Australian Super.
So great example. So do you know how it's invested?
Yes, I do.
So
Actually,
it's
after your seminar,
great. So you're in a high growth portfolio?
Correct, I'm in a high growth portfolio.
Okay.
That's correct.
Perfect example. So the high growth portfolio is a managed portfolio.
Yep.
Right. So what Australian Super does is a whole bunch of people in a boardroom to decide every week, quarter, month, how much of your assets should be in growth assets and how much of them should be in defensive assets. What we know historically is one, active management, because that's actively managed, underperforms passive. Right, because Australian Super doesn't know whether Trump tariffs are good or bad. So what they'll try to adjust is how much of your money is in Australian shares and international shares. So this is not advice, but something you should potentially look at is what it would look like to eliminate the active management. So what if you just went, I don't want to be in any defensive assets because you're young. You don't need to be in cash. I just want international shares and Australian shares. What would happen if Australian Super unfortunately doesn't offer direct indexes, but Australian Retirement Trust Host Plus does.
Yep.
So you can go to something like Australian Retirement Trust or Host Plus and go, I want 80% of my money to be in international shares index and 20% of my money in Australian shares index. And then you know what you do, Alan? You just leave it the fuck alone.
Don't touch it.
Historically, that has outperformed every managed fund. Warren Buffett, one of the best investors in the world, agreed.
Yep.
If it wasn't for his stock pick of Apple 10 years ago, he would have underperformed the S&P 500.
Yeah, wow.
Over a 20-year period, this is actual factual numbers, I double-checked it, he only outperformed the S&P in the last 20 years by 5%. Not 5% per year, over 20 years because of Apple.
Yeah.
So this is a man that's owned 70 plus companies and had 50 active allocations. The one beta between him and the S&P 500 was one stock pick. What the fuck do you and I know more than Warren Buffett?
That's true.
What the fuck does Australian Super know more than that? So just being in the market is a solution. And a simple tablet could show you that. Same as insurance or which loan should I get? And then the second level is where you want to like have a bit of a more interaction. So I'm not sure which super I should pick. And then the third level, you have your geniuses.
Yep. Gotcha.
Right. So second level, maybe like events, etc. So more broad topics, let's all discuss super together. Let's all discuss the difference between buying as an investment or on an owner-occupier first. When you walk past the Apple store and they do those group presentations, and then you got your geniuses. So,
Private, personal, one-on-one.
There's levels of point. Like you asked me, if you're on $80,000, like we just helped a young lady very unfortunate circumstance, and I won't disclose her name, etc. And she can share a story. $82,000 a year of income. Both of her parents passed away. $1.6 million cash inheritance.
Wow.
Like, she needs advice.
Of course.
So us assisting her with that process, it's about us investing time in helping her understand her options. We're not saying, oh, you should go do this. It's, hey, name, this is option A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And she dives into that. So I hope that answers that question. But the people on less money need more help. Someone needs to solve that. So take my idea, or we're working towards it with Sis Club, Money Friends, all that sort of thing. We've just been very quiet in the last 6 months. We haven't posted. I know you've noticed we haven't posted for 6 months.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those things there that I'm very passionate about, that sort of stuff as well, because, you know, coming from a low income family, and my parents were small business owners as well, so trying to chase the Australian dream. They never made the best investment choices when, you know, for property or, you know, even for business, they never made the best investment choices. And I think they still don't make the best investment choices. So it's kind of up to me, right? I think it's so important to have that educational piece as well, but obviously skirting the sort of narrative of financial legal advice and all that sort of stuff. And the good thing now is you have a lot of influencers and stuff like that talk, but then there's a lot of different, like you say, you have a massive sort of voice in this space, which is like, you really hate it when all these financial influencers push these products and services because they're getting like a 10K kickback or a, you know, percentage kickback off whatever reference and sales they bring in. Yeah. And I understand that from a businessman perspective. From a business perspective, it makes sense. I pay these guys who have massive influence. You know, they get a commission for the sales they generate in my business. I fully get it. But sometimes the product I might sell might be a shit product, or it might not be the best product. And I get your gripe with that as well. So I get both sides. I get it from like a proper wealth management side versus a business side as well. And I just know that that's how the world works. But when someone really builds something to cut through all the fat there and really provide real value and really solve a lot of these problems in the wealth management and wealth education side, there's a lot of money to be made.
Transparency is coming naturally just due to where technology is going.
Yeah.
So my biggest gripe is people always, every single time I do a question box, people are like, where did you go on holiday? What watches do you own? How many properties do you own? It's just so irrelevant. Yep. Like, to this day, I will never disclose where I live, how many assets I own, my net revenue, because it doesn't provide any value.
Correct.
And people are like, how can you advise if we don't? It's like, everything I advise on, I own. Yep. So I own residential assets. I have interest in commercial assets. I buy shares, and I also invest in things that I can't advise on. So everything I can advise on, like i.e. crypto and art, and I can't tell someone to buy a watch to flip it, but I buy those things, right? It's still so irrelevant because you are not me. I am not you. This person watching it, if you want to build a advice, lending and buyer's advocacy business, I can advise you. I'll share my numbers with you. Use it. I hope it helps. But the biggest issue we're seeing is people go, I have 8 properties. It's like, yeah, because you run a business. So you're able to show the income to do that. And then we have clients coming in on $80,000 a year. And it's like, I want to buy 6 properties in 4 minutes. It's like, you're on 80 grand. They're like, oh, but this guy said I can open a trust and I can buy 4 properties in the trust. It's like, yeah, because they can divert hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of income to get the borrowing capacity. That's the issue. That's my main gripe. The product side of that, it's just the game, like you said. It's just the game. If something pays you, you're going to sell it, right? Agreed. But we do the same. Like, we have an agenda. We want people to get advice.
Of course.
We want their lending. So, yeah.
I mean, if you didn't have an agenda, what's the point of doing it in the first place? Why would you invest thousands of dollars into creating content and resources if you're not going to, actually try to make money? What's the point? And that'd be probably one of the dumbest things to do. Just like everything else in life, especially in this game that we play with wealth, is you gotta learn how to make money. I think that's the most important thing. And where the advisor comes in, you can't tell or teach someone how to make more money. That's fucking on them. You can't just sit there and go, hey, go start a business. This is how you're gonna run it. You're gonna make an extra $500K a year. It doesn't work that way.
I'd just go do the business.
Exactly.
People come to me for business advice. I'm like,
wrong person, bro.
Well, I can help you with the structure and the strategy of it, but the
execution, the growth, that's not your job.
No.
Not your job
Like,
at all.
which ad should I run? I'm
Yeah.
like,
Don't give a fuck. Don't know.
I don't. Yeah. Do you really want me to invest 10 hours into this?
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
here's my billable.
Yeah. But, I mean, the most important thing I think a lot of people need to realize is, for example, I would find someone like yourself in my position, right? Being a business owner, I'd come to you and be like, okay, cool, Arcadius, this is my net position. This is my, my position as well. This is my revenues. This is my whatever. This is how my business from a legal standpoint or from an actual formal standpoint is structured. How can I then change either one, my structuring? How can I adjust my super structuring? How can I adjust my potential personal income structure, etc., so that my goal is to buy this property or my goal is to get into this?
Yeah.
How do I do it when all my chess pieces are on the table? That's when I would come and see someone like you.
And that's a great example. Like, you're in a commercial place now.
Yep.
And you were like, hey, I'm renting this, or I own this,
Yep.
or
I want to buy it in the next year.
Correct. And we would help you understand, one, how to do it, how to position it. And we would never tell you it's good or bad. We'd just go, this is what it would look like if you bought it.
Yep.
This is what it would look like in your personal name, a business name, and an SMSF for tax arbitrage, right?
Yep.
And then what that would do is it would help you understand whether you're being emotional or whether you should just rent it. Right?
That's a good one now as well. I think from an emotional versus logical standpoint, how do you help people navigate that? Because I know a lot of people watching, I know a lot of people listening are going to struggle with that. Money is a very, very fucking emotional thing for a lot of people.
It should be.
And I agree. And most people can't sit here and talk about their own finances from an honest standpoint. And I think everything in life has to come. I don't care if you're honest to other people, but I do care. But I think you have to be honest to yourself. A lot of people do not get honest to themselves from a perspective of money because of their ego, right? And I'm sure you've been in that position. I've been in that position where we don't want to seem as broke or poor as we, actually are. How do you kind of navigate that emotional versus logic side for example, clients, people that inquire, or just in terms of general advice for other people out there? What would be a good way to reframe that relationship with money?
There's two questions.
That was loaded
there.
as fuck.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start with saying what we do in business, because I believe this might help a lot of people, and we actually lose business because of it, which baffles me. So maybe you can help me understand why we do. But I always say something in client meetings is we're going to put measures in place throughout your journey to protect you. I.e., if we're doing your loan and we're telling you not to buy a home, we're doing that to protect you. Like, we get paid when you buy that property. So if we're saying no and we're just doing your lending, there's no agenda there. Like, we're not selling you a house, so we're not getting paid. So if you want to remove any of those layers, you're more than welcome to, because it just means we make money faster. But time and time again, not heaps, but there's a handful of times where we've been negative and clients go, why the fuck are you so negative? Why are you telling me not to buy this? And we have lost business because of it. Because they're just like, I'm just going to go to a broker that will just let me buy it. And for us, I just don't want to sleep at night knowing that that person's going to come back to me in 3 years and go, why did you let me buy this? So we see that mistake before. So what we have learned to do as a business to remove the emotion is emotions are cool. They're fantastic. They're what makes the world go around. They're what makes you want to buy the $7 coffee or the, big lapel suit or the jewelry or the watch. It's what makes you move. So when it comes to residential real estate, emotion's good because loving something is owner-occupier appeal. And that increases the capital appreciation of commercial assets and residential assets. However, if you understand the numbers behind that decision, it will help you decide how emotional you want to be. I.e., if you love it, but the numbers show that it's just you that loves it, at least you know that that's the decision you're making. I.e., you're going to go buy this unit in Zetland or Mascot that hasn't grown in the last 10 years, and the land value is 100 grand and you're buying it for 900. So the probability of it continuing to grow doesn't make sense. It yields well. So just understand that if you buy this, you're going to make no money. And they go, I don't care. That's fine. Cool.
That's on you, bro.
Yeah. So the answer to the question is actually running the numbers. So i.e., if you want to buy a commercial asset, have a team, whether it's me or someone else, that can show you what it looks like in your personal name, what it looks like in the business name, what it looks like in a self-managed super fund, and what it would look like to move that money into your business instead.
Yep.
So I might mean that you have to invest $200,000 of capital. This is how much rent it saves you, but is 200 grand better buying a new product? That's for you to answer.
That's right.
Because you have the net returns over a period of time. Past performance is an indicator of future performance, but you know what it means to invest 200 grand in your business.
That's 10 new products. That's, 20 grand worth of 20,000 units of stock.
Correct.
Sell them at $50 a unit. That's 10 mil.
You know that number.
Yeah.
I don't know that number. That's on you.
Correct.
You know your past performance better than that. I know the data of this asset. So then what you have to do as a business owner is decide. So the answer is find someone that helps you understand your numbers. And if anyone's ever directing one option, like if you came to me and you were like, I want to buy a commercial asset, and I go, Alan, you have to buy it in SMSF. It's the absolute best thing to do. Run the fucking other way. Because the only reason they're saying that is so they can do the $4,000 setup SMSF and then the grand per year.
Yeah.
But if they show you the options and you pick SMSF,
That's on you.
let's workshop it. Just understand this is going to cost you $4 grand up front, $1,000 a year. Can you account for that? Does that outperform buying the business stock? And if you say yes, let's make a move, right? So I hope that answers it.
I think it does, because for me, I understand where you're coming from as well. Because whenever some people come to me, whether it's for advice, whether it's for help, whether they need business, whatever, when I'm consulting for business, right? It's the same situation. People ask, and I give them, these are the options. They go, why don't you just tell me what to do? Because if I tell you what to do, one, it might not be as relevant, and two, you might be hiding things from me. Three, I don't know exactly your proper situation to the dot. Only you would know that, and you would run all the numbers yourself. If I give you the options, you can kind of see, okay, go down this path. There's a chance that XYZ will happen. This path, XYZ, right? So I think a lot of people don't get that, and they don't want to be in that position. The reason why they feel like, and this is probably why you lose business sometimes because of it, is they feel like they come to you because you're the professional, you're the advisor, you should have a crystal ball. And when they come to you and you don't give them the crystal ball, they might be like, why the fuck did I just pay you money to get no answer, to still make me make the choice? And that's probably where it comes from.
And we lose business to people that will just sell them.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Which is fine. They're not our ICP, so ideal client profile anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just not who we want to deal with. There was a second question is how do you change the emotion of money or the relationship with money? I have two stories.
Yep.
So I've never done a budget in my life, ever. I've just, and my missus always calls it because she's like, you just brought on 2 new staff. You just paid all this money for all these new subscriptions this month.
Yeah.
Have you cash flowed? I'm not. Like, I just know it's going to work because in my brain, I'm like, okay, this software is $200 a month, but it gives me back 3 hours a day.
Yep. I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
I think the girls sometimes, or all my business partners are women. I think they just get money anxiety, I feel.
Yeah.
And for us as guys, I think whether it's not our ego or confidence, in our head it's like, doesn't fucking matter. If I spend 200, I'll make 2 grand tomorrow. So it'll be all right. It'll cover itself, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the psychology.
But it's also, I'm in this process where I want to buy my future owner occupier right now. Just because of family circumstances and things like that. I just want to be in a position where if shit hits the fan with my dad and my mum needs somewhere to live, I just want to have a place that's comfortable. If I make no money on it in terms of yield, I just don't give a shit. But I also want to be commercial about it. So what this means is I actually have to understand how much income I have to earn to cover the cost of that asset.
Yep.
So I need to be a little bit strategic. So what I did was I started doing a budget. So I
First ever budget.
extracted my, my Amex stuff and my personal accounts and whatever. And I started doing it. And 6 hours in, I was just like, if I just spent 6 hours, like working, I could have just made 2 grand. So that would 100% cover the outgoing expense of that asset for that week.
Yeah.
Geared, worst case.
Yeah.
So that's how you change the relationship is go earn more money. And if you're like, oh, but I'm on $80,000 a year and I'm already working 38 hours, go work an extra 20 hours.
Yeah, but 38 hours is fucking nothing, bro.
In the second or third year of owning this business, I want to open a speakeasy. It's stupid. Makes no sense. But I wanted to build the knowledge base of that. So while I was running this business, I was working as a bartender, developing a cocktail menu on Friday nights, Saturday nights.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right? Like I have no sympathy for you.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
second thing is, time and time again, I have initial calls, 5-minute calls, where people are like, I want to invest $100 a month. You know, I want to put it into a share market. What do you think I should do? I'm like, how much time have you spent researching this? They're like, I've already listened to 10 podcasts, etc. I'm like, okay, to invest $100 a month.
Yeah.
So, you know,
To be clear, that's $10 an hour if you spend.
So $1,200 a year,
Yeah.
10 hours. Plus, you're going to pay me $1,000 to sit in a strategy session. You're going to do all this.
Yeah.
So you're going to have $200 left. And they're like, yes. I'm like, stop doing that, go earn more money.
Yeah.
How Mozzie says, like, don't invest in the S&P, invest in the SME.
Yeah.
It's
He made a post about that yesterday.
That's how you change your relationship with money.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's invest in yourself, go earn more money. If you're stuck and you need options of understanding what to do with your residual cash flow or the cash flow that you don't have, seek advice. And if the advisor is telling you what to do rather than showing you your options, run the other way. Because if they're telling you what to do, they're selling you. Yeah. At one point, there's always a, what do you think? Because there's 2 options left. And I go, look, the reality is the numbers of this really make more sense. And I understand that you could buy all these products and all this, but I can probably get you a business loan for 200 grand too. So let's compare the difference. And you were like, Arkadiusz, I don't want to have to build a studio again. And what if my 3x3 runs out and then I have to relocate all this shit? I just spent 60 grand, 70 grand doing this. Like, we're being a bit emotional there, but that's cool because you moving office and having to change this shit is more detrimental to you than 12 grand a year, as an example of true emotional holding costs. And that's where emotions are cool. So it's just repositioning what you're doing and just understanding it. And as a PAYG employee, it's a little bit harder because you're restricted by your earning potential. But that's why it's even more important to spend more time figuring out how to make more money, in my opinion.
I agree. I think like some of the most basic wealth mindset kind of things that we learn in life, the first thing is usually you either have one of 2 choices. It's either you save more or you make more. I mean, there's literally nothing else you can do.
Or figure out how to pay less tax.
Yeah, correct. Which I think most people can't anyway. You know,
to some extent, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's always that question, and right, like everyone always has this idea and philosophy. I think you were one of them that changed that mind. My accountant was one of them that changed my mind. From a business perspective, we're always like, oh yeah, everything's a tax deduction, just deduct it on tax. But the reality for me was, my accountant went to me and he was like, oh hey, if you just think about everything as just deducting your tax, you're going to spend 5 grand to save on your tax bill, which is gonna be, you know, the 10% GST part of that, and then whatever tax you're paying on that is not much. So you're still spent 5 grand to try to save a couple $100.
Yeah.
So you're still a loss, or you're still down buying something that you potentially didn't need. And that was a massive money psychology shift for me. I was like, well, fuck, I didn't need to spend that in the first place. I spent it to save on tax, but it doesn't really do anything.
I'll tell you a stupid, vulnerable story. A year and a half ago, I spent $140,000 on a luxury car in the business to get an instant GST deduction. And I sold it for a capital loss, right? And then when you sell the car in the company, you pay GST on the sale.
Yep.
So
Double loss, essentially.
I lost like 35 grand over that 18. Like, I owned that asset, and that asset was valuable to my lifestyle emotion. But we do dumb shit like that.
Yes, of course.
Like, and yeah, it's always like, I want to buy this to save tax. I spoke with a client of mine yesterday. He's one of our videographers.
Yeah.
I go, you know, this year we're paying a big tax bill, right?
Yeah.
He goes, man, I literally buy shit because I'm like, I'm getting 30% off this.
Yeah. That's the mindset. Yeah. So you get a 30% discount.
Yeah. He's like, oh, new camera, 30% off. I was like, stop thinking like that.
Correct.
Because you're not getting 100% back. You're only getting 30% back. And that's what people think tax deductible means, you get 100% of it back. That's not the scenario.
Yeah. So the rough net that you'll get back is about 30%. So ultimately at the end of the day, it's like, if you're spending it and you're not making money on it, don't fucking spend it. What's the point?
Or if you do, just know you're being emotional.
That's true.
And that's fine.
And like, exactly. Sometimes you just want to reward yourself, and it is what it is. You know,
completely fine.
Whatever it is. That's just life. All right. Well, then I want to kind of touch on.
I thought you were going to dive deeper into traumas, man. I was preparing for all this shit. But this
I do.
You don't have to. I don't got any.
No, don't worry. We will dive into it because I think it does make a lot of sense, right? The trauma side of things is so important to how our psychology works, because you know where you are today, obviously from where it stemmed, is what created the person you are today, right? And that's incredibly important. Like you said, you learned the most from your traumas. I wanted to dive into kind of like 2 directions based on what we're talking about so far right now. Number one, I wanted to kind of, we touched on the point of, for a lot of people, bridging that gap between the people who need the most knowledge and information but can't afford it. So I want you to kind of share some insight there towards the end of the show. So you guys have to watch to the end to listen to his advice or to his recommendations. But before that, it's kind of getting to where you are today, right? Your life's completely 360, not 360 because that's just in a circle, but 180 changed from the hood side of things. What was the big psychology shift for you? And I know you went through a lot of things, and I want to touch on this as well because we've always had Instagram DMs to each other about it. Fucking shit business partners, or like, you know, this person backstabbed us, all those people that fuck us over in business. I want to touch on that too. But your psychology has shifted a lot since when you were young to where you are now. Obviously, your money and finances and the wealth mindset side of things has completely shifted too. What do you think was the big kind of kicker for you? What was the big transformation stage that really made you go, cool, if I want to be really successful in what I'm doing, even personally from an asset and a financial point of view, what is that psychological trigger for you that went bang? You know what? I can't do this. I can't be broke. I can't be poor. I can't go down the pathway my friends are going down. I need to create that wealth.
The simplest one was obviously just during high school when I saw, like I mentioned, one of my best friends die.
Yeah.
I was like, do I want to be dead or alive? That was that simple. So
how did that impact you? Like when you heard the story or when you heard the news, what was going on through your head?
I was in business studies, funny enough, and
This was still high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to see my friend due to the conditions of their arrest and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because they're on bail terms and they weren't able to see anyone. And he was literally living in my house. So he was like my brother. My mum took him in because tough life and all that sort of
Is
thing.
it a Vietnamese guy?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, he was New Zealander.
And he was part of an Asian gang or?
No.
Okay.
He was part of
An
I don't
Islander
even
gang.
know.
Part of something.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Like heavy. Like
Heavy.
I'm not going to throw up gang signs and names.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need that
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Or ever.
Yeah. Correct.
So I got asked to be put in the principal's office, but I didn't get along with the principal.
Yeah.
But it was a vice principal and he was the best. And he was just like, I don't know how to tell you, but David's dead.
Fuck.
I just didn't know what to say.
And
and
just
then
dropped the ball like that.
Yeah.
Bang. Wow.
And yeah. It didn't hit me until later in my life.
Okay.
It's the simplest way to say it.
Interesting.
I was young, you know, I was surrounded by that. I think it affected me, but then that sort of came up in later stages of my life. And I've had, you know, that happen and other things happen and business partnerships fail and watch my dad die twice in front of my eyes, come back to life. Like every time that's happened, I've gone, I'll deal with this later. I'll deal with this later.
Compartmentalizing it.
Like, I'll deal with this later.
Yep.
And then the most random stuff, like I'd be watching like Legally Blonde with my missus and I'm in tears.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, why am I? My missus like, are you okay?
Do you love this movie that much?
Yeah, and it's like, that's like watching my dad die twice.
Yeah, wow.
See what I'm saying? So I think that all those moments shifted going, do I want to be a criminal lawyer or do I want to be the criminal?
Yeah.
And at that moment when I found out that he passed away and, you know, when I buried him, I was like, I'm going to be a criminal lawyer.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to make sure that I get people out of the situation that they're in and rehabilitate them. That was my vision. I obviously didn't go down that path, but it's the same thing. First failed business partnership. I was like, I'm never going to X, you know? So when you ask me that question, it's even the most recent business partnership failure, which was really recent. It was in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It taught me to communicate distrust and dissatisfaction immediately.
Gotcha.
Immediately. If I didn't trust you, didn't like something, I would tell you straight away now. I'd just be like, bang. And I held it in. And they obviously knew that I was dissatisfied. So they essentially tried to fuck me before I did something about it. Whereas I just could put it up straight away. They're just learnings.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
I wish I cried when my friend died. I wish that when I watched my dad die. I wish in that moment I wasn't trying to be the big man and I didn't go to work the next day and I actually took some time off. And I wish that, you know, when things happened in business that I message my clients and say, hey, I'm going to need a week to just get through this. But I always just go back to work, go back to work, go back to work, go back to work, go back to
The stoic mentality, right? Like you just, nothing phases you. You just got to push through.
Not really. Not anymore. It does
Not
later.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah. I guess the traumas make you who you are. And should my friend have died? I don't know. Did I have to watch my dad die twice? Probably not. You know, but so what?
That's life.
Yeah.
Life happens. Shit gets in the way. And
It's just perspective.
It's true.
Being grateful for what I have. You know, I'd always like, why is my dad so sick my whole life? It's like my mum is 80 and she's so healthy and great and amazing. And she's a G, you know, like that's what I should think about. It's just perspective. And as you get older, it's just hard when you're young. And when you're in that minefield or if you're in business and you're getting fucked over, it feels like your world's over. I'm
100%.
sure you've been there.
Yep.
So it's just knowing that it's not. I'm getting better at that. Meditation.
Of course.
Perspective.
Of course.
Cold shower.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how successful we are or whatever. Still human, right? Like we still feel these emotions, and there's always a first for everything. Like, there was a really good quote that I saw on socials once. It was, "Be gentle to your mother because it's her first time being a mother too," right? And I was like, "Fuck, that's some deep shit." But then I get it. There's a lot of times with bad parents, etc. But same thing with life, right? It's your first time doing business. It's your first time doing whatever. It's the first time doing a partnership in certain aspects. What was that like actually? How many business partnerships have you gone through? Or how many businesses would you say you failed to get to this stage today?
1, 2, 5.
5.
Yeah.
Failed partnerships or
Failed
just
businesses
businesses?
and partnerships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been. I'm not sure what the reality of the situation was when I was in those partnerships because I was so young.
Yeah.
I don't know where they were at, but you know, there was one situation where I built a business in Tasmania in Sydney, an insurance business, and I wasn't on the PTY LTD because they say put in my name. And then they sat me down and they were like, if you want to buy in now, you have to pay us X.
Yeah. And you're like, what the fuck? I built this.
Correct. But, you know, in perspective, maybe they were like, but I've got the capital to build the office that I didn't have. It's always in that moment, I felt like I was getting done.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the reality is. So it's something that I probably need to revisit right now. Maybe go catch up with them and see where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, what was your perspective at that time?
Yeah.
The failed businesses is just stupidity, naivety.
Were they always
I have
older
failed-
than you, or
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was it like?
significantly, yeah.
What was it like then in your process, right? Because now that you failed those businesses and have those failed
Well,
relationships.
I have one that I'm literally entering a partnership right now.
Okay.
So it's quite interesting. And they're both significantly older than me.
Okay. And what is the mindset behind picking those partners? What makes you pick them as partners? Now that you've gone through a few failed ones, in retrospect, what were the kind of red flags there? But what were the green flags that you saw when you entered those that you now revisit and go, maybe I was just naive?
All of the partnerships were just friendships.
Okay. Just friends.
Yeah.
It wasn't a strategic partnership or anything. It was just like, hey, you're my mate. I trust you kind of.
Correct.
You
I
got a
wanna
kind of
help you
skill.
out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all it was. So that, and I knew who they were as a person. I knew that they had, you know, things that I didn't like about them.
Yep.
And I just assumed that that wouldn't replicate in business. Stupid.
Was it ever like, did you ever get to the stage where it was like everything's contractual, you're responsible for this, job
No.
titles, just nothing? It was just, hey, you're my bro, I'm your bro, let's go do this.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Trust, handshakes, etc. Now I'm the complete opposite.
Contracts everything. This is
Every
this.
time I have even now, like post-meeting conversations,
Yep.
we have a meeting. I send, hey, we had this meeting. This is what we talked about, etc. It's not because I don't trust them. It's what happens is like Kiro and I fight every day. Like I went off at him this morning about something in a text, but
Yeah.
we both want each other to win,
Of course.
right? So when he gets angry at me, or I just go, just remember we're on the same side. But even with Kiro and I, post-agreement, we both send in each other an email of our understanding of that conversation. And sometimes I'll read what his perception was, and I was like, that's not what we talked about. So that lesson that I talked about before, identifying that immediately, like I'll walk into his room, it's like, that's what you got out of the meeting? And he'll just look at me like a stunned like dog and be like, what? That's not what you meant? I'm like, no. And then we sort it out there. But also sometimes what happens is like we came to an agreement on a certain revenue split on a structure. After things changed, things moved, and then I felt like I was doing more. So we revisited that. I go, hey, like we wrote this. Do you feel this is still fair? And he goes, yeah. I go, I don't feel that it's fair. I want to revisit this conversation, right? Or there's been moments in time where things have gone the wrong way. And we have used those moments to go, hey, what we agreed on hasn't been happening. Do you remember when you wrote this to me, Arkadiusz? And I go, oh, yeah, I do. I'm sorry, I've lost track of that. So sometimes it's just a reminder, because when you see that, you remember where you were at in that moment. Like we came to this agreement. Obviously, it shifted differently. I've done more work. Okay, maybe I should go back to this. So I feel like that's really important in business.
Interesting. Well, what do you look for now without, obviously divulging too many details, but like in terms of your business partners right now, especially this new one that you're going to, probably a good reflection point as well as we're talking about it. What do you kind of look for in that business partner for you now, knowing that, in the past, these sort of relationships have been handshake agreements, and people might get the wrong perspective of each other's conversation. You've gone through all of that process, and now you're, 1, a bit older, 2, a bit more mature, 3, a bit more experienced. We never know it all, but what do you kind of look for in a business partnership now?
It needs to be mutually beneficial, and we should have a different skill set. So the 2 business partners on Strategic Investor Group, Nick Kitson is significantly older. He's planning a transition to retirement. So he essentially, we need to be in a position to find someone to replace him or to buy him out. So that's, in my mind, that's really important. So Kiro and I are both in a position, and Nick, where we really want to find someone to replace Nick. Not because we want him to die, but because we just want him to, when he's ready, to be able to go, I don't want to do this anymore. And at this point, he loves seeing clients. He wants to do it. That's what he wants to do. But in 3 years, he might turn around and go, I don't want to do this anymore. So we are all aligned on that aspect.
Okay, fantastic.
Kiro and I are very different, but we have the same vision. The issue with us is he's significantly older. So where we find a bit of a discrepancy is I have patience. So like we've done VSLs and landing pages, and we haven't posted for 6 months. We've done content. We've done all this stuff. And he's like, just post it, put $1,000 behind the ad. I'm like, that's not how it works, bro. We'll put like $20 on it.
Got to test it
2
out.
weeks and whatever. He's like,
it.
we don't have 2 weeks.
Because
in his brain, he's like,
it needs to be done.
Like he wants to go buy something in Byron in his Vaucluse house, and for me, I'm like, I got 20 years. So like, I'm happy to ride the game. Right. So, but that helps because he has immediacy need and I have a long-term vision. And if we can find that somewhere in the middle in a constant agreement, it's there. But what I also look for in business partnerships is disagreement. Like I genuinely love disagreement. I genuinely love when a business partner won't always go, that's so good. Like we never do that. Like every time I hear Kira on the phone, I hear everything and I walk in, I go, you said this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. Or after I do something, like I'll film a whole video, it gets posted and Kira's like,
you said that wrong, that.
He's like, why didn't you say this here? You could have punched more value. Like I don't need you've done so well, bro.
Nice job, bro. Fantastic.
That's what I look for. I look for disagreement that moves us in the same motion.
Gotcha.
And I feel that in business partnerships, if your business partners and everything feels so good and you both think everything is a great idea or 3 of you think everything's good, and that's an alarm bell for me. That's a big red flag. There'll be moments in time where you're like, this feels good.
Yeah.
And immediately when I have that, I'm like, what the fuck's going to go wrong?
Yeah, I get you. Do you think that's a trauma response too? When you go, everyone's on the same page at this moment. Like, let's just say there's both of us, we're in a meeting where we've come up with some fucking hectic idea. We're both really excited about it. Do you think sitting there and going, ooh, what the fuck's going to go wrong now that me and Alan are super excited about this business idea? What can go wrong? And that's the first thought, not about what can go right or how do we structure this.
It's definitely not the first thought anymore.
Okay.
It was,
Yeah.
but it is one.
Okay.
And I'm grateful that it's there.
Yeah.
Like I'm grateful that I can understand that there's a potential of danger.
I think that's
could
important.
I could be walking through Surrey Hills at night, but someone could still come out. I'm not going to walk straight around a corner.
Yeah.
I'll still do my big circle around because I'm used to doing that from turning right on a Cabramatta unit where someone
might be ready to shank you.
yeah, and there's nothing like
Yeah.
I'll hold my missus on the further end of that. And it's the same thing. Like if we're extremely excited about this as business owners, we'll go, okay, what if something goes wrong?
Yep.
And we go, what could happen? Oh, we have a
Contingencies.
competition.
Yep.
One of us gets sick.
Yeah.
You know, one of it like my dad getting sick and me not being present for 2 days is potential. How does that affect us?
Yeah. How can we adjust? How can we respond?
Correct. I think it's definitely a trauma response, but I'm grateful for it. I've learned to not make it the immediate thought, but it was.
Do you think that's from that's part of the hood experience as well? Because you're always on guard. You know, when you grow up in the hood, when you grow up in a place where it's like lower income, a lot of violence around you, you're kind of more on guard, right? Your second nature or your kind of instinct is like to be defensive, to be protective of yourself, and you're always aware and alert. There could be, you know, dodgy deals going down. Someone could get stabbed over there. Someone's been following me home for the last 10 minutes.
100%. I think that, and also just having business failures, you know, like we're in a very, like I was very successful at a period of my life and in this business, and my licensee tried to bankrupt me.
Fuck.
So to be an advisor, you're really self-licensed, but it's a huge exercise. Or you go via a bank, but then you're only offering the bank's product, or you go for a licensee and they take your legal responsibility. So the licensee, I had open APL, so you can offer every product in the market, all that sort of thing. But they just collapsed, tried to bankrupt me.
Wow.
So now I'm aware.
Wow.
You know, so
You learn.
yeah, like I think it's definitely a trauma response. Where does it come from? I think anyone in business long enough will naturally ask the question.
I agree.
And if you don't, you will probably make a mistake.
And you get fucked. Here or there.
Most probably. I hope you never do. I hope my light moving forward is always positive.
But we all know that that's not the case. Like we can always be naive and hopeful and optimistic that everything in life, every partnership's going to go great.
It could be, but then we have to stay exactly where we are. I don't want to.
Agreed.
Like
with growth, there's always going to be challenges, right?
100%.
It's just like how all successful people will say.
Do you have those trauma responses yourself?
I think
I can put
do.
it back to you.
And that's fine.
Can I
love
talk
that.
to you about your? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's great as well. I love that. I feel like I do as well in business nowadays. I'm a lot more cautious. You know, even with staffing, I'm a lot more cautious. You get fucked by staff. You know, you teach them everything, then they go and work with a competitor, or you know, they even whether they sign NDAs or whatever, they still go and breach them. It's typical, right? And it's a question of do you go after them, do you not? You live, you learn. I think that's the lesson now. Every stage in your business, there's always going to be some sort of a challenge. Every stage in your life, there's always going to be some sort of a challenge. Whether it's with a current girlfriend, previous girlfriend, future wife, you're going to have challenges at each stage. Your girlfriend at 1 year versus your girlfriend at 7 years is a very different girlfriend as well. You know, your business partner at 1 year versus 5 years, very different. And also at the same time, your staff, you know, fresh interns versus, and you've had interns too, which I'm sure you'd love some and you fucking hate some, you know, and you do learn. I think you definitely do learn. For me, my first instinct nowadays, and this is definitely, I know, a trauma response from previous, whether it's business partnership failures or poor integrity from people, etc. And sometimes even my own fault as well, right? It's not to say I'm not at fault for all of these things. I take absolute responsibility for some fuck ups, right? But it's like one of the first responses that I have nowadays is, how will they fuck me, right? And it's sad, but I think coming from a position before, which was I gave everyone the benefit of a doubt.
I remember that from our very first conversation on the phone. You're like, I know because you're a mate, you're not going to fuck me over.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first things you said on the phone call, and my brain just went,
He's
that's
got a story.
weird. No, I just went like, for that to be like,
Yeah.
I just know that you won't fuck me. I know you won't fuck me.
Yeah.
I was like, that scares me when someone's like, I will just trust you.
Yeah.
For me, if someone's like, I trust you, tell me what to do, I'm like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Correct.
no.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think the trust needs to be earned, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you're a mate, whatever it is. I have a habit now of testing people just to see. Oftentimes I'll find out things about people and I won't say anything, but I know it's happened, or I know what's happened, or I know whatever, and I'll see how they behave and respond. And that also builds up the foundation of a person's integrity around me. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, and the same thing, that first conversation we had was probably 3 years ago now, probably 3-4 years ago. Nowadays, it'd be more like, okay, why the fuck should I trust you? Why should I see, that's probably a different angle now. It's not like, oh,
I'd be
you're
like,
a mate.
don't trust me.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like, it's not like, oh, you're a mate, or you've worked with some of my friends. I've heard good things, I know you're not going to fuck me. Nowadays, it'll probably be like, okay, cool. So if by default, I'm going to get fucked over somehow, how can you show me that you won't do that, right? And that's kind of more the angle that I've taken, even just from our own personal sort of discussions and personal engagements. It's like you learn, and even within the 3 short years, it's not really a long time, we both have grown a lot
100%.
and evolved in our businesses and our experiences, because in the last 3 years, you got fucked over by a business partner. And the last 3 years, I've been fucked over, not by many business partners, but by staff, by whatever, right? And it's like, okay, cool. So we've both learned, we've both grown, and we're just better off for it.
And I think like the words "fucked over" and stuff, I'll add
Quite
context
aggressive.
to that. Yeah, it is, because at the point it was, but to your effect, to your point, I was just as responsible, because I didn't make that person aware of my dissatisfaction immediately.
Yeah.
Right. So when I unleashed on everything that was wrong, it's sort of, they were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that this is what, like, this was affecting you this much. And I was like, I want you out.
Yeah.
And they reacted.
Yeah.
And if I was them, I probably would have done the same
100%,
thing. Right.
100%.
I would have been like, well, fuck, this guy doesn't want me in this business anymore.
He's going to now fuck me over.
What am I going to do? So I'm just going to fuck you
defense.
first.
Yeah, correct.
Right. And like, it's okay. And you just need to, I'm friends with them still, right? Which is, we're fine. And we came to an agreement like after a year, and everything's fine, and everything's, I'm not Jewish, but it's kosher. It's a funny word to
it's
use.
halal.
Yeah. And maturity allows that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. And I think it's just, if you're young and, you're watching this, or if it's your first business, asking for guidance and help is there's just nothing wrong with that.
I
And
agree.
the issue is, if someone told me before, I probably wouldn't have listened anyway. And now I'm getting better at listening. Like, I want people more experienced than me to tell me how I'm going to go wrong. And if I still feel like they're wrong because their perspective's different, then I'm making that decision.
Correct.
And I guess, the word trauma and trauma responses, it's like, it's so valuable and great. You should realize how valuable it is to you, and you should be grateful that you have the trauma. As long as it's not too fucked up.
Yeah.
But there are elements of it that make you who you are.
Yeah. I think as long as you work on your trauma, you can identify it, accept your trauma, and as long as you are aware of it, which is what the struggle is with our society. Most people have very poor self-awareness. As long as you're aware of where your shortfalls are, you'll definitely be able to kind of grow from it. Just from our conversation today, and just catching up essentially of what's happened over the last couple of years between us, you can kind of see we've grown a lot. The way we communicate, the way we talk, we've definitely grown in a sense of understanding the traumas that we have, how they play a role in our life, and essentially how we can adjust for it and adjust our lives based on that, which is great. Trauma response is such a powerful tool to have, I think, as long as we're aware. But if you're unaware, then you're fucked regardless. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Look, I think we're fortunate where there's a lot of tools out there that can help you solve this stuff. Whether it's
get
therapy
a counselor
or whatever.
Get a therapist.
Like deal with your shit.
Yeah. Have you ever had a therapist?
Yeah, I've been twice.
Yeah.
3 times
Yeah,
over
wow.
my whole life, because when I didn't go to I went to go speak to someone because I genuinely couldn't solve my problem in my brain. And I was just like, I don't want to talk to, so one of my videographers gave me very good advice. And he was like, Alicia, so my partner, she can't be the person you sleep with, the person that is going to raise your children, the person that, helps you in the house, the person that listens to your business and listens to all your problems. Yeah. So what you need to do is, there's people in your life that are just about business. Yeah. You're not going to talk to them about sex with your partner. Well, you shouldn't. It's just, you shouldn't do that shit. You're not 12 years old anymore, right? There's people that you talk about creativity. There's people that you talk to about your finances. So there's potentially people that shouldn't know everything that's going on in your brain. And I realized that I was just upset for no reason, like reasons like watch my dad die and all that sort of shit. But it had already happened. I just hadn't dealt with that at that stage. And I got to a point where I was like, do I want to talk to my business partners about this? Do I want to talk to Alicia about this? Do I want to talk to my friend about it? And I actually tried talking to one of my best friends, Graham. Shout out to Graham. Didn't want to help me at all. Every time I tried to have a serious conversation, he would just try to be funny. Yeah. And I messaged him once. I was like, I'm really sorry, bro. I really appreciate how playful our relationship's been our whole life because we're just like kids. Yeah. But at this point, I can't match your energy. So I'm in a really fucking dark place right now. I don't know how to get out. So if I'm going to call you, just going to try and be funny. I can't talk to you at the moment. And then I realized I was just like, I'm now pushing away a mate. So who am I going to, like, I just want someone to listen to me. Right. So I went and spoke to someone and I told them and they just started laughing at me and they're like, what you're feeling is completely normal. Like you just had this happen. I was like, oh, okay. So what now? He's like, I don't know, if you want to come back, you can, but it's not going to change how you're feeling. But it gave me that perspective. And they gave me a really good analogy that might help people listening. It's, you know, have you read Harry Potter?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so like, you know exactly what's going to happen in the Philosopher's Stone. Agreed? Yep. And what happens throughout your life is you have these books, these moments in your life, and some of them you know so well, like so well, i.e. that part of your life where you see someone with a knife, you know that they're probably going to stab you when you run the other way. But there's other things that happen in your life that sometimes you open it, you see and you close it and you put it away. He said throughout your life, you're going to have these books and it's up to you whether you want to open them or not. But unfortunately, sometimes the book will fall off the shelf and it'll open on the page that you didn't want to see and you're not ready for it. So you have a choice. You figure out what those books are and what pages you're avoiding and you open them up in your own time. And he's like, I don't care if you do it with me or you do it by yourself or they're going to come up for you. And I don't know where you're going to be in your life, but you're going to have to figure out how to deal with them at that stage. So you pick the battle.
Wow.
So I think that's the reality with everyone. And for me at that point, I chose to try to find every single page that was fucking me up. So I didn't continue go seeing them, but I read books to figure out how to solve it. I went into deep meditations to think about that thing that I've been avoiding and deal with it in silence and go, okay, bang, 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 bang. You know, like I brought up the whole thing with my friend that passed away and really tried to understand that and how it affected me and what I've learned from it and what the positives were and what the negatives were and where it's positioned me. And like you got to deal with your shit because if you don't, the bookshelf's going to topple over one day and
just crush you.
Imagine you got 3 kids, a mortgage and a business and you're crying watching Legally Blonde. Like that's not the man I want to be.
100%.
So I'm dealing with my shit. I'm constantly going to deal with it. Hopefully nothing dramatic happens in my life, but it's probably not a reality, but I'll have those toolkits and I'll hopefully understand that book better. So if, you know, someone dies or something happens, I'll know it's still going to affect me, but I'll know how to deal with it better because I'm used to seeing that thing happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very powerful you say that because it's, as men especially, right? Mental health in men is something that's, you know, usually not talked about, you know, that black dog. And it is quite sad because we're surrounded by people that seemingly are quite successful, seemingly are quite, you know, doing quite well in their lives, etc. However, you know, they might just end up one day, just that's it. Everything snaps, the rubber band snaps, and that's all it is. And it's just that one decision and they're gone, right? And it happens. So I think dealing with trauma is something so incredibly important. As guys, we always try to be more stoic and nothing phases us. Oh, something happened. I'm just going to go to work the next day. I don't process it. Fuck, it doesn't matter. I'll just compartmentalize. And to be honest, it fucking sucks, especially if you're aware of it. It's like, why can't we sit there and just cry? Why? You know what I mean? Like sometimes when something happens to us, why can't we just, you know, be that person that just eats up that emotion first, deals with it there and then, rather than pushing it away so that we can be the bigger man. And that ego side of things for men is something that we challenge a lot. And I think in your position as well, coming from a wealth background, finance background now with all of the money and all of that, it's a big reflection for a lot of people. Like they associate their finances and their life with how good they are, how big they are as a man, etc. So getting towards the end of the podcast now, I would love to keep going. I reckon we could banter for the next hour or so, but you got meetings, you got money to make, right? That extra hour. But I wanted to kind of give one sort of point of advice, not so much advice, but like, from your perspective, I don't know exactly the right word to use here, but if I was in a position, let's just say for me as an individual out there listening, let's just say my first goal in life is to get to that 6-figure income, right? Which is the minimum, right? You got to get to your 100K income. We all know 250K is the new 100K. 100K for our parents back in the day was great money, but now it's 250K. But let's just say I'm just starting off in life. I'm that person that needs that most advice, but I can't afford to come to Arkadiusz for the next hour, right? If you do, great, good for you. You've saved a lot of money. You're doing great. But let's just say I can't afford to, or I'm not in a position. I've come from a lower middle income family, and I'm starting out in life. I'm in the journey of my 60 to 100K journey, which could be a 5-year career path for a lot of people, right? Very normal career path. What would you say are some of the fundamental money habits I should probably try to stick to give myself the best chance? Now, these are just, general advice, obviously.
When I say it, it's just going to be so simple. And that's the issue. It's money in, money out.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Unfortunately, if you focus too much on your budget, you're not going to focus too much on earning. But if you're capped because of your career and your income at that point in life, you unfortunately have to spend more time dialing it in.
Yep.
So you need to save. So just creating simple systems, percentage-based allocations. So I don't like budgets. I like percentage-based allocations. Put 20% into a long-term savings account that will potentially become a house deposit, business deposit, etc. 10% into, or even 5% into I call it an OFF, an OFUC fund. So it's just emergency savings. Build 1 to 2 months worth of emergencies. If you have a kid and a mortgage, 3 to 6.
Yeah.
Right. You need more. If tinfoil hat, everything that might happen. I genuinely think you need to have maybe 6 to 12 months of cash right now, just in case we hit a recession.
Yep.
There's, no employment, all that sort of thing. But then also 5% investment. Just keep it simple, long-term, index, etc. Because what you've just done there is you've allocated 20 to 30% of your income towards something that's outside of your earnings. It's working for you.
Yep.
What you do with the rest of the money, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So if you're going to come to me as a person earning $100,000 or from 80 to 100K and you want budget advice, you're better off putting that money towards your budget than spending it on financial advice.
Yeah.
But realistically, if you are earning less than 100, even less than 125 to 150 grand, you need to figure out how to earn more money.
Yeah.
And it's out there. And if that means that you stop what you're doing and you go study and realign with a better career pathway, that's okay. If it means that you have to work additional hours while you can, that's okay.
Yep.
Look, if you're a mom or a dad with 2 kids and you're stuck in this role, that's shit. Reach out.
Yeah.
We'll help you, we'll find you something or a pathway to assist you with advice. But yeah, it's just simple. Money in, money out, man. It's like business. Cash flow's king.
Yep.
PAYG, cash flow's king. The more cash flow you have, the better. People earning less than 100K also focus on how can I save as much tax? So they spend 20 to 30 hours trying to figure out how to save more tax. Go work for additional 20, 30 hours.
Agreed.
Right?
You have so much time. I think a lot of people get into the mindset where they think they should be paid for every hour they work, because obviously the system teaches us that. But the reality is you have to have some sort of value if you want to go earn extra money, because the only other way for you to earn extra money is get another job, get paid hourly. Could go work at Macca's. Doesn't matter if you're 30 years old. You could still go work at Macca's, $25, $30 an hour. Or you create something of value and you sell it, which is not time dependent.
This will relate to the financial, mental health, and personal side. And this is just me being vulnerable. It's when I was in a bad place or in a bad money situation, when I sat there, my girlfriend gave me some advice and she was like, journal in the morning, 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're looking forward to. That did not work for me.
Yeah.
I learned that if you're in a position and you're focusing on your own problem, you can't move forward. If you focus on other people's problems, you will move forward, right? So if you're in a bad place, go to the gym, do all that sort of thing. But if you're like, how can I add the most value in my workplace today? That becomes your focus. Or if you're like, if you're in a bad place and you're visiting your mum rather than being mopey, it's like, how can I ensure that my mum has the best day today?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, bang, perspective. So if you're on 100K, you're like, oh my God, I'm so broke. How am I going to learn to live? If you're focusing on that, that's what you're going to do. But if you go,
focus on being broke.
how can I earn an extra 20 grand?
Yeah.
What don't I know to put me in a position to earn $20,000 extra? Google it. I'm on 100K and I want to earn 120.
ChatGPT.
What can I do?
ChatGPT it.
Right? If that becomes your focus, you're immediately changing the perspective. It's the same with mental health. It's the same with physical health. It's like, why am I so fat? How do I get abs?
Yeah.
It's perspective, right? So I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think so. I think it will. You're working on a couple of interesting projects at the moment. I saw you and Kirill doing it. Especially right now, we talked about Sydney property market. We're going to wrap up on this. But on the Sydney market, obviously it's very tough to enter, but not impossible. I mean, everything in life is tough, but not impossible. You guys are doing something really interesting to help people build confidence in buying property, right? I want you to kind of touch on that because the property market is about to explode, change. By the time this podcast released, it might be a little bit different. But, the property market is going to transform based on the current election. And you've made some content around this recently. By the time this releases, it'll probably be irrelevant. But let's just say from a general perspective, you guys are helping people get into their property. Talk to me about what you guys are working on at the moment, which I actually think is a really cool and unique product. Because I have a lot of buyer's agent mates, I have a lot of friends that are in buyer's agency, seller's agency, both sides of real estate. I have a lot of friends in real estate now, which is great. But you guys are doing something quite different. Talk to me about what it is and what you guys are like actually doing right now.
Yeah, so obviously we're an advice, lending, and buyer's advocacy business. But the issue is I recently had a young investment banker, good money. He's like, hey, I'll just throw money at you. You guys just buy whatever you think. Like, I'll take your money, but we still need to understand your flavor.
Yeah.
So the main issue, whether you're a first home buyer, an investor, owner occupier, buying a downsizer, whatever it is whenever you start the journey, you have something called uninformed optimism. So you're like, I'm just going to get a pre-approval how hard it's going to be. But then what happens is you quickly realize that you really can't afford the things you want, even if you're going to a different state. So this project that we're working on, it doesn't matter where you buy or what you buy. It's just to help you cut through the stages. Because what you have is you have uninformed optimism, then you have informed pessimism, where you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Even if you go and employ a BA, you thought you could buy the 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom house. They're like, hey, you can only buy a unit. You're like, what the hell?
Look, I've gone through that process. Actually, for what Arkadiusz is saying, I can validate exactly what he's saying because I've gone through that process, right? Even with a BA, you might think just because you hired a BA, that's it, you're sorted. Everything's easy. But it's fucking not, man. No. Property is such a convoluted place, and it's like there's so much going on, so much happening, and we're in a huge supply-demand issue right now as well. So yeah, it's a complex place to navigate, and this whole entire cycle that you're talking about, which is consumer psychology.
Correct.
And you're helping them navigate.
And then what people hit is a crash and burn.
Yeah.
So at crash and burn, people get desperate. This happens 2 weeks into their journey, 6 months into their journey, 12 months, and they pay too much for a property.
They get the shittest fucking thing.
Get desperate, employ the wrong person, etc. So what we're trying to do is start people at informed optimism.
Yeah.
So the process is we help people identify their borrowing capacities and every single option available, and then we actually get them into a van, right?
Nice.
And we go
blacked out van.
Yes, and then we actually go from open homes to open homes, and we have 2 parameters that we use. So we have area X-ray. So area X-ray is proximity to transport, education, crime rates, etc. And we rate places. So green is good, red is bad, blue is okay. And you can use those metrics with the software that we provide to buy anywhere you like. So I don't care. We're unshamedly Sydney-centric, 25-kilometre radius and Sutherland Shire, and there's a reason for that. But if that doesn't suit your goals, your needs, your objectives, you can take those parameters and use it elsewhere. And then we show you how to inspect a property on 53 individual parameters. So actually giving everyone in the van our toolkit. So 53 parameters being like, which way does it face? What's the size of the windows? Like all the macro factors that make a property better than the other one. So why does this property grow more on the street? And then after the van, there's weekly checkpoints. Essentially, you become your own buyer's advocate. If you want to transfer that information to use a buyer's advocate, you can, and we essentially credit the cost of that van towards that fee, or best case, you do it yourself. And we've done this already for 4 months. And to give you context, our van tour 6 weeks ago, 2 people from that van tour this week have been able to buy off-market properties themselves.
Oh shit!
At lower than value. So one example was previous sale, same street, small block 720. Our client got it for 640.
Wow.
So desperate, like all the little tricks. So they
Getting
write
the
like
deals.
letters being like, "Hi, my name's Alan. I'm a first home buyer. I hate real estate agents. Please, I just want to buy off
cut
market.
through.
What can you do?" Like we just give everything. And the reason we're doing it is what we find is even if people go through the journey is if they go through the uninformed optimism and then informed pessimism, they waste 3 to 9 months. And what that means is automatically now they have to look at worse suburbs, inferior assets. So if we can start someone here from day one, we're doing it because it means that we are able to help them settle faster. So it's a win-win. They're happy because they buy the property faster. We're happy because we don't have first home buyers, investors, owner occupiers running around with pre-approvals for 12 months and we've just done no work. So we think this is really going to transform it. We also think it might eliminate a lot of BAs in the market that aren't doing all that work that they should be, and they're just like, trust me, and it's just going to create more informed buyers. So we're going to launch that. But this will be live by the time you launch this. But yeah, 10 spots every week.
Yep. I need to come with you. I'm going to document it.
Yeah,
we should. We
you
should
want
do
to come on? Are you free tomorrow? I have one
in
spot.
I'm in Melbourne
Okay,
tomorrow.
I always
when I'm
hold
back,
one spot when you're back.
Yes. When I'm back, I'm going to come. I want to actually do a follow up to this podcast episode.
We
So
might
we'll
not be
put it-
doing the van anymore. Who knows?
Yeah, no, it will
Or
be
it's
a
a
bus.
big
It'll be a bus.
coach, yeah.
It'll be a bus.
Yeah.
But whatever happens, I think when this episode goes live, I want to do a follow up to this actual episode.
Sounds good.
Usually, what happens is I'll get my guests back and we'll do a couch session. Sounds a bit weird there, but we'll do a couch session where it's a bit more chill. We dive into more details. Because first episode we're always getting to know you and kind of seeing where your expertise lies, and we'll always do a follow up. So I actually want to do a really interesting one. I'm going to come out into the field with you and I want to see your service. I want to see how it actually runs.
Yeah, I think it's good.
And we'll document it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely proven success, and the point of it is we just want people to have an unfair property advantage. That's it. So we just want to give you the toolkits, ensure that you're out there. And look, property's fantastic for PAYG employees.
Yep.
It's also great for business owners if they have residual cash flow and cash. But if you're a business owner, your focus should be on building business. And we had that conversation as well.
We've had that conversation
property
a
is
few
great
times.
if you have residual cash flow and
Correct.
income and potential guarantors, equity, etc. But if you're a business owner and this is a full-time job, like buying real estate
It's fucking hard.
is a
Bro, it's so hard.
full-time gig. You
I know.
need to commit time. So what we want to do is try to alleviate that stress for business owners and employees, so they've got the pathway so they're not wasting time.
Amazing. Well, I mean, everyone stay tuned, right? So I will go out with Arkadiusz. I'm going to actually document this, give you guys the non-biased, no bullshit fucking review of his service, and which I think is fine because
Am I supposed to charge you for a ticket? No.
And then we'll go through, we'll detail all of it. So that'll be the follow-up to this podcast episode, which will be quite fun, I think. It just came to my head because I thought so many of my friends or so many guests come onto the podcast, they share like a product or service. And I'm like, how the fuck do I know how good this is? So you know what? Let's do it. I actually want to go check it out, see how good it is, and we'll do it live and we'll film all of it. We'll document it. But yeah, where do people find you? Where do they actually find like your services, offerings, wherever?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Arkadiusz, so RKDS. So if you find that handle on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it's all there. And my business is Strategic Investor Group. So my name is Arkadiusz, Real Knowledge Diverse Solutions, and I'm a partner and strategic director at Strategic Investor Group. So whichever route you want, you can find them.
You'll find them somewhere.
Yeah, so Arkadiusz, YouTube.
Or in the middle of
Instagram.
Pitt Street interviewing people.
Yeah, we're going to do street talks a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's really valuable to get out there. It gives me perspective. It gives me perspective, like the single mum that we talked about,
100%.
where I was like, I actually ran after her after I did the interview. I was like, I need an hour with you in a room because I can solve your problem, but I can't do it in 10 minutes. And she's like, how much? I was like, it's just like, we'll just sort it out. Like in that moment, I was like, this is the reality. Well, it's just the reality. It's like, it's very easy for us to sit here with cash and suits, like you said, to go Sydney's whatever. But if you've got 2 kids and your husband left you and you're struggling, like
Fucking hard, man.
100%. But there is an option. You can stay, but it's just a choice.
Yes, agreed. All right. Well, last question for today. If you were to look back on all your experience now, right, from your childhood to now, I always ask the guests this, and I always ask them for a cheat code, right? We live in a game of life, which is great. If you remember playing GTA, there's always cheat codes you figure out, or you Google and you find it on IGN or something and you find it. What's the one cheat code that you have kind of discovered in your experience that if you were to go back to yourself at 18 years old would help you double your results in half the time that you've achieved that in?
My brain wants to answer this differently to try to be more business minded, but my heart wants to answer it a certain way because it's what happens. So I answer it in my heart. If I didn't waste time on bullshit people, bullshit girlfriends from the age of 18 to 25, and I just spent that time spending time with my mum, doing quality shit, i.e. not doing that bullshit dinner with that girl I didn't care about, or going out to that stupid party with a mate and just hanging out with my mum, I wouldn't have been hungover. I would have had more money in my bank account and I would have learned how to be a better man, right? So I think that's probably my biggest regret. And I feel that if I had spent that time building a better quality relationship with my mum, sure, I wouldn't have had the party experiences, the stupid stories, but I would have been in a better position because I wouldn't want to wake up being a shit cunt in front of my mum. So I think that's my biggest regret. So I hope that helps. Yeah.
That's proper. I think a lot of people forget that even in business is you forget that if you spend time with your loved ones and you don't invest your time into the dumb shit that might impress others, that is a huge game changer for your final position or later on position compared to where you are.
The girlfriend you have at 18 is probably not going to be your girlfriend when you're 24.
Especially if you're dropping $600 a dinner on her.
Yeah, the mates you have when you're 19 around a table probably not going to be your friends that pick up the phone when you're 30 years old in business and you need a $15,000 helping hand. But your mum might not be that person either, but then you're not wasting time on shit people. And I think that's the key.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful.
What about yours?
Thank you. I'll shake your hand first. What about mine? Oh, that's a good question. I think it changes from time to time. If there were really a cheat code, I've always stuck to, if I went with more intensity when I was younger, being more resourceful, I think I would have been in a lot better position. I believe I wasted a lot of my time. I've started 16 businesses. You've done 5 failed ones. I've probably failed 12, 13 of them. I think if I invested more time into what is actually timely versus what I thought was timely, in terms of business sense, right? Right now, it'd be very smart
But
for a
did
kid.
you know that then?
I think if I was around the right people, I would know that.
Yeah.
But because of my environment, right, I think it absolutely plays a big difference. For example, right now, if you were to look at life, where should a 16-year-old kid invest their time? Obviously, AI, right? Technology, AI, social media. You invest that, and we know that there are kids already making money doing that. Crypto might be a different story. I'm not too sure because, but if you understand that, great.
But you can investment. It's not necessarily a
business or
correct, unless you wanted to get into like
Ponzi schemes
yeah
and rug pulling
or crypto
people.
tech.
Yes,
you'd be
crypto
getting
tech.
into the technology
correct,
side.
correct.
But yeah.
But you know what I mean, right? It's investing your time and energy at that young age into the right channels. And I think, for example, there was a long time where I thought to myself, I should have gotten into tech when I was young, but I didn't because I thought retail, not in a brick and mortar sense, but digital retail would be better. And I always knew social media would have been good, but instead of doubling down on social media, I kind of dabbled, right? I actually launched my first podcast in 2014, 2015.
You've been doing this stuff
And if I did and I stuck to that podcast, I would probably have been one of the first big podcasters in Australia. But rather than investing my time into that, right, I decided, oh, you know what, I'm going to try this business venture, that business venture. And I think although I learned a lot from all of those things, none of those things pulled off the sort of spectacular success that I was looking for. So if I had
you don't want to leave money on the table.
Correct. And so I think if I went harder with more intensity in one focus channel that was timely, that was most relevant at that time, I probably would have done a lot better. Like in 2013, I probably should have just tried to become an influencer versus in 2018, I tried to do that. In 2013, I probably should have gone into e-commerce and starting my own brands instead of try to be an affiliate or a brand affiliate for someone else.
Yeah, because the thing is,
what I mean?
even if you kept going at 2013, at 2018 you would have figured out whether that's what you want to do. Or not. Whereas
that would have been 7 years ago. You know,
yeah.
save 7 years of time. Which is literally half the time I've been an entrepreneur.
Good perspective, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate this conversation.
No,
I haven't done a
it's been fun.
podcast in a while. I don't really do
Yeah.
them, but
Yeah.
you reached out. I think Rachel.
Yeah, your assistant. Yeah,
She put it in my calendar, and then I saw it, and I saw the questions. I was like, oh, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Because we talked about this like 3 years ago. We're like, bro, you just got fucked over. I just got fucked over. We should just film it. I'll come to your office. We should just film it.
now we're here.
And now we're here.
Yeah, I'm
In
looking
my studio.
forward to the follow up, man. I appreciate it.
It'll be fun. Thank you very much. It's been fun. All right, guys, tune in next time.
See ya.
It's been fun.
I hope you have enjoyed that episode of Point 01. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along on all our socials at Point 01 Podcast to watch all of the shorts again. We release an episode every single week, and we hope you will join us as we continue to explore the minds of those who make up the 0.01%. Until next time, keep hustling. I'm your host, Alan Fu. I'll see you on the next episode.